Democrats have filed an FEC complaint against RFK Jr., claiming he is improperly coordinating with his super PAC so that he can get on the ballot in a bunch of states. RFK Jr. is having a hard time of it. They sealed him out. They booted him from the Democratic primary, basically shutting the primaries down so he can't get in. And now he's having a very, very difficult time to get on the ballot. There's a rumor that some in the Libertarian Party want him to run on the Libertarian ticket so he can boost their poll numbers, though many in the Libertarian Party are like, nah, we wouldn't vote for this guy. He's not a Libertarian. It's interesting that Democrats are resorting to this because at the same time, the sheer panic that is unfolding right now over the DOJ decision that Joe Biden is not competent to stand trial. And I know, being a little hyperbolic here. They basically said, he's an old man with bad memory and no one's going to believe that he's like, what do they call it? Like mentally willful or something like that. He is not a person who commands his own will anymore. And now you've got Rachel Maddow saying, well, he's totally fine. He rides a bike. It's great. Joe Biden himself is saying, I'm totally fine. My memory is great. And what I love about this is they are begging the DOJ, please criminally charge Joe Biden. It's almost like they want to get him out. And now, following this, Michelle Obama's, what do we call this? Vegas odds, we'll call it, skyrocketed as people think, look, if you're going to come out right and say we would criminally charge him if it weren't for his shattered mind, you're basically saying he's a criminal and his brain don't work. So it doesn't seem like the kind of guy anybody wants to be president, but here we are. So we'll talk about that, plus a bunch of other big news. Of course, you may have heard Joe Rogan's back all over the internet. I think that's big cultural news. We'll get to that. Before we do, go to castbrew.com to buy the best cup of coffee you've ever had. Everybody's favorite Appalachian Nights is in stock, ground. And we also have Rise with Roberto Jr., as well as our coffee pods. When you buy Cast Brew coffee, you are supporting the show because we sponsor ourselves. But I'll be completely honest. We don't pull profits from Cast Brew. All the money that we get from Cast Brew goes back into Cast Brew, all of it. And we're using it so that we can invest in and expand and create physical locations. And we have one in Martinsburg, West Virginia that is currently under construction. And March 5th, on the upper floors, I think it's going to be the third floor, we are hosting a private event, members only. So if you become a member at timcast.com, by going to timcast.com and clicking join us, you will get a notification sometime in the next week or two for ticket sales. There's only going to be 50 available. We will have 10 available free of charge for our elite members. So if you're an elite member at timcast.com, it's first come, first serve. We can only have so many limited seats, but we're going to send out an email just to you guys and 10 tickets right off the bat. So whoever sees them, stay vigilant, I suppose. We try to do it as fairly as we can, but those will be free for elite members who will have pretty much like, if you're an elite member, you've got privy access to the social club. But again, go to timcast.com, click join us to support our work directly. And you can check out our members only uncensored shows Monday through Thursday at 10 p.m. No uncensored show tonight. And you can also get access to our Discord server where you can talk to and hang out with like-minded individuals. So smash that like button, subscribe to this channel, share the show with your friends. Joining us tonight to talk about this and everything else is Mike Harlow.
Thank you, Timothy. My name is Mike. I host a show called Microagressed. I have a crazy little YouTube channel. I'm part of the walkaway movement of people who have walked away from the left. I know with all this serious stuff in the news, you guys needed a deep, serious, intellectual foreign affairs expert. So thank God I'm here.
Well, actually, there's a lot to get into. Tucker Carlson's interview with Putin's got like 160 million views. I just love how the media keeps saying a diminished figure. No longer getting the reach he once had, and all of his interviews have hundreds of millions of hits. It's just wild. We got Phil Labonte hanging out. He's giving me his look.
Audacity to say that. Hello, everybody. My name is Phil Labonte. I'm the lead singer of the heavy metal band All That Remains. I'm an anti-communist counter-revolutionary. What's up, Ian?
Well, I'm just chilling here, Phil. Thanks for asking.
Can you believe that they would say that?
No, it's dirty.
It's
dirty.
They're accuse your enemy of what you're doing, I guess. As the mass media fails, they'll tell you that you're the one that's failing.
That's
as they crumble into the abyss. What's up, everybody? Ian Crossland, actor, musician, superstar. Glad to be here. Thanks for the intro there, Phil.
We just got the 95% completed music video starring Ian, and it's so creepy.
I want to do another one.
Oh, it's epic.
This one's like, yeah, we'll get it. Yeah, this one's like a horror kind of vibe.
Crazy.
Yeah, we got Serge pressing the buttons.
Yeah, hanging out. I really liked the video. Good job. man.
Couple weeks.
Hey, shout out to Kent Welling for putting that together and all the post editing and all that stuff. It's really a spectacle.
Oh, also, new studio is almost done. I was there today for the last time.
New studio is done.
Yeah, it's done. Yeah, I should say it is done, but we'll be there soon, y'all.
And skate park construction begins in roughly 1 week.
Wow, no way.
Yep. This is crazy. So like
Time's flying.
in 1 month, we're there probably.
Yeah.
I can't wait.
It's nuts. And if you follow Booney's HQ on Instagram, you can see a couple clips of what it looks like inside the building. It is a building in a building. There's a 40-foot building with a smaller building inside it.
They post regularly now, right? Boonies is posting regularly.
Oh yeah.
Yeah,
YouTube, Instagram,
I follow them on Instagram, and I notice their stuff all the time. So,
and also shout out to Pop Culture Crisis. They got over 100K.
100,000.
There you go. Let's
Big
jump to
time.
this news. New York Times reports DNC files federal election complaint against Robert F. Kennedy Jr. Democrats accused Mr. Kennedy of illegally coordinating with a super PAC to get him onto the ballot in several states that could be critical to President Biden. I just want to give a shout out to RFK Jr., whether intentionally or not. He is. We now have the Democrats being assailed on two fronts, and good. They say in a federal election complaint filed on Friday, and also know this: the reason they do this on a Friday is because they know people are not watching the news.
Yep.
Everybody's at the club right now, or they're playing billiards down at Long Shots off 340 in West Virginia, and so they're not paying attention to what's going on. They say the Democratic National Committee accused RFK Jr. and a super PAC backing his independent presidential bid of illegally coordinating on a $15 million petition drive intended to qualify him for the ballot in several states that could be crucial to Biden's reelection. The 11-page complaint to the FEC described the arrangement as an in-kind contribution to Kennedy's campaign by the super PAC American Values 2024, one that violated federal campaign finance laws and breached long-established financial barriers between candidates and outside groups. Well, I'll just say, okay, I'm going to read this. Quote, "This is an effort to subvert our election laws and prop up a stalking horse in RFK Jr., Liz Smith, a senior advisor to the DNC, said during a Zoom call with reporters." Was she looking in a mirror? Yeah, that's what they do. But I'll just throw it back to what I was saying. I am enthused. I am happy to see that the Democratic Party is panicking. Not just, just think about how bad things are. The immigration crisis is blowing up in their faces. Joe Biden was just basically ruled incompetent by the DOJ.
Yeah.
RFK Jr. is polling in the double digits and polling mostly from Democrats. And, Joe Biden's the only candidate they got at this point.
This is like this is an example of why centralized authority really struggles and why decentralized authority is where it's at. Why this country's thrived for as long as it has with statehood at the center. Because they're trying so hard. This party seems to be trying so hard to control things with the social media censorship, what they're doing with Twitter, and God knows what other corporations, the way that they're trying to sue him and stop that guy and file a lawsuit against them and make sure all these people go to jail. It's like, they're floundering.
People don't really actually think of how much this administration has done that's just downright illegal. The Biden administration has been slapped down by the Supreme Court at least 2 times with 2 different cases. They have absolutely abdicated their responsibility at the border. It is clear that there is significant corruption in the Biden family. There's just been no prosecution because the Democrats don't get prosecuted. Now, this is the second time someone that's running for president the DOJ has decided to not prosecute them because of reasons, which really everyone knows they're Democrats, so it's different. It's the hierarchy thing, not the hypocrisy thing. Obviously, the DOJ goes after Donald Trump because not only is he a Republican, but he's outside of the bureaucracy and outside of the establishment Republican that might actually be able to change things. We have a uniparty that is trying to consolidate power now. People like Bill Kristol, who is has been a neocon war hawk forever. He's been wrong about literally everything. Go back and look at all the stuff that he wrote about the Iraq war. Wrong. Bill Kristol, for some reason, has failed up, and people still listen to him in Washington, D.C. He's now a Democrat. He was a Republican all his life. He's now a Democrat. And there's just example after example after example of establishment Republicans that have gone to the Democrats or that sound like the Democrats because there is a uniparty trying to consolidate power.
But just think about how absurd it is right now that Donald Trump is being criminally charged over classified documents, and Joe Biden was just ruled not competent to be charged over classified documents.
It's two Democrats have not been charged. Two candidates for presidency have not been charged for classified documents. Hillary Clinton had a server in her home, completely and totally violated a ton of laws. And then Joe Biden had stuff stuck in his garage
and his office.
And
his office. The garage that his kid, who is likely corrupted by China, who's been or Ukraine or any number of the governments that have been siphoning money to the Biden family, was staying at the house that all those classified documents were in during the entire time that COVID was going on.
But I'm not worried about a Chinese Communist Party member showing up to the Biden's house and going in his garage.
No.
I'm more worried about Hunter Biden in the garage, and he calls his dealer, and his dealer shows up, and then he's just like,
got any rolling papers? And he's like, yeah, there's some in these boxes.
I need some papers for my car because my cat pissed. And he's like, just grab these. And then he throws them in the back to soak it up and then drives off. And then some guy finds it and he's like, yo.
If we had a legitimate government with a legitimate Justice Department, the entire Democrat Party would go to jail or at least be brought up on charges and there'd be investigations.
Here's a question. Here's a question. The documents they found in Trump's home were in a locked cabinet. And what had happened was the feds came first. I think it was the feds came in and they were like, "Hey, if you're gonna have these documents, you got to lock them up." And he's like, "You got it." Locked them up. Came back later and they were like, "Hey, we got a warrant. We're gonna open this and see what you got in here." Biden's documents were unsecure and sitting in a garage, which means, however many they found, I think there's a strong possibility that many more were lost. It's possible for Trump as well, but I think something important people should consider. Trump's were in a locked place the feds had requested. Joe Biden's sitting in his garage. Let's say Joe Biden had 100 classified documents, and over the several couple of years, they get picked up, moved around, and then the only thing the feds found were 13 or whatever.
It's the double standard that's really the crux of the issue, that justice only goes one way. I think anybody at this point with eyes can tell that Democrats were living in the early stages of an attempted communist revolution. They want a one-party state. They want two-tier justice. They want a merger of big government with big corporation. And it's exactly like you said, Phil, the uniparty. We have one party of communists who call themselves Democrats, and we have another party of eunuchs who call themselves Republicans.
And don't get wrapped up, granted, it is what I would still call communism as well. But don't get wrapped up. It's not going to, when you look at it, it's not going to look like the Soviet Union. It's not going to look like China. It's going to look like the United States because that's the way that communism works. If you look at the Maoist Cultural Revolution in China, Mao himself said that communism in China was not going to look like communism in the Soviet Union. It was communism with Chinese characteristics, and that's the way that a socialist revolution will happen. In the United States, it's not going to be a peasant revolution like it was in China. China, the peasant revolution happened and they took over. But in other parts of the world, there have been revolutions where the urban people rise up because they're the factory workers and they're the people that are oppressed. So how the communist revolution goes depends on where it is. So don't get wrapped up in it doesn't look like any communist revolution that I've seen or whatever, because it's the ideology that matters.
It doesn't need to when they control everything.
Part of me is I'd hate to see that happen in the United States, but also part of me is kind of like, man, it would be a laugh riot sitting on the beach in El Salvador watching videos about how all these lefty commies are being gulagged by their own like vote.
Well, I think
that's what you voted for, and sip on a coconut.
What would happen is they say that the revolution will not be televised. There's that's a phrase, kind of a funny tongue-in-cheek thing. But I think it's an economic digital revolution of economic. Like they're trying to centralize the banks so that they can turn off your central bank digital currency. So instead of going to a gulag, you're just not going to have any money, or you're only going to be able to buy the things that they allow your money to buy.
No.
That's a terrifying communist.
They're not going to lock you in a
dystopia.
gulag. They're going to make it so that the only way you can earn money is by breaking rocks.
By doing the gulag doing what's needed. Yeah.
They're going to say the only job available to you now is in the quarry, and they're going to send you down there, and you're going to be breaking rocks because you chose to.
But if it was the kind of world where you could be like, well, I built this machine to break all these rocks, now pay me, and they're like, nope, we're going to take your machine. That's when it's gone a little too far.
No.
I think the whole thing's a
when
little too
they
far.
send you to break the rocks, Ian.
Well, they send you to
When
go
they
work for money. I mean, it's still kind of
when
similar.
the only way you can make money is breaking rocks, shit has gone way too far. It was gunfight time long before that. Like that, like you don't do that kind of stuff. You don't allow your system to get to a place where you are the only thing you can do to produce an economic positive outcome for your life is.
Well, we got to clarify that. I mean, the forced government labor.
Yeah.
Right. Like, you know, if the only
you're
way,
talking about gulags.
right. So we're in
not
this context,
forced,
we're
it's
saying
just
quite literally, if
encouraged.
they get buses, load people up, and ship them off to internment camps.
What was that?
Yeah, we're not going to force you to go break rocks. It's just if you want food, that's the only way to do it. So
No.
good luck, figure it out.
No, but you can break
that
rocks.
is not how it goes, my man. That is not.
That's what they want to do.
That
They
is
don't
what
want
they
to
want.
overtly
Right.
be like,
So-
we are your slave master. They want you to have to feel like you have to do the slave work.
Right. So this is the point of central bank digital currencies. There won't be gulags. No one's going to show up to your house. No one's going to crack a whip. None of that. They're just going to be like, hey, you violated the rules, so we've suspended your account. And then it's going to be like your account is currently in a limited state. It's like, what does that mean? Well, here are the things that are available to you in order to earn revenue. And it's going to be things like sewage cleanup and stuff like
Or
that.
it'll be like pay money. Like it'll be like digital bail. If you can get someone to give you money to pay back your fine, then you'll get access to your crap again.
You bring this. You bring up a great point.
I'm
Ian.
giving these people ideas, man.
You bring it. No, well, you're not giving my. I promise you're not giving me ideas. The point that I'm making here is that kind of thing is typical outside of like Western society, like in the U.S. and in Europe and stuff. In Western Europe, it is not a surprise to have like to deal with the police and the police behave in the way that they are supposed to. But as you get further east in Europe, that kind of stuff becomes less and less reliable because corruption is normal there. If you're the guy that has the gun and has the ability to say, no, you can't go through this checkpoint that me and my homie just set up randomly, you know, you have to pay us to get through. Our old drummer, Jason Costa, was on a tour with his old band one time in Eastern Europe. I don't remember exactly where it was, but he's on a bus and they get pulled over and just dudes with AKs roll up on the bus and they're like, hey, how much money did you have before we got here? And they took all their money, like all the merch money and stuff. So
Let's jump to this story. This one's too good. Bill Clinton's former strategist says he woke up every 2 hours crying and wet the bed after Biden's classified documents debacle.
That's hilarious.
This is terrible for Democrats. But shout out to him. He's admitting his stress and he was being tongue in cheek. He said, hey, I slept like a baby. I woke up every 2 hours and wet the bed. Because what's going on with this report
Probably into that.
this is about Joe Biden not being criminally charged, and the reason being he's a bumbling old dotard. And so they're telling this country, your president is not only a criminal, but he's also incompetent. I don't see how Joe Biden his polls and favorability could improve after something like this. I mean, you know, sure, certainly something's possible, but now we're seeing the betting odds for Michelle Obama skyrocket.
I feel like that's something that gets said every 4 years. Michelle Obama is going to run. 4 years from now, they'll say Michelle Obama is going to run.
Well, they're not saying she's going to run. It's the betting odds, meaning like people are putting their money down. That's it.
I think
I wouldn't bet on Michelle Obama.
No, but I'm just so glad that we find this really was the first acknowledgement we've gotten from any sort of official person about his mental state. I mean, since 2020 or 2019, we've seen the gaslighting of America, of us being told, oh, it's just a stutter. Don't believe your lying eyes. And the thing is, we've all had family members and relatives that we've unfortunately had to deal with who have had dementia or Alzheimer's. So we can spot it in 2 seconds with him. And we've just been told to not believe it for so long. So finally it's being acknowledged, I guess.
Remember when, like, what was it where people said he pooped his pants?
He did.
It was
I don't know
like-
if he ever
it
did.
It was a lot of time.
Well, no, people say that about him all the time. I'm not saying that he pooped his pants a bunch
It's
of
a
times.
specific. It's a specific moment
depends.
where
I don't know.
he was supposed to have some kind of meeting, but he was late and then showed up wearing different clothes. And everyone's like, "Yo, I bet he pooped his pants." Maybe, but honestly, the poop the pants thing, he probably peed himself. That seems way more likely. Like, come on, like, hold on, like, let's be real. With all due respect, he's probably wearing diapers.
I mean, 80 years old.
Yeah.
He's probably wearing. It's likely, you know. So
That's kind of wild. Like, what, at some point in your life, you just can't hold it anymore. It just comes out. Is that
I
it?
don't think that it's everybody, but it's like as you get older, like, you know.
Yeah, I don't know.
Man.
It depends.
It's not even the number. It ain't the years, it's the mileage. Like, I love old people. Shout out to old people. However,
Trump's old.
yeah.
He's great. Someone told me that joke from what's his name? Is it Jeff Dye? I don't know.
Jeff
a comedian.
Dye's a funny guy.
Comedian, yeah. He said something like, "I can't say I'm a Trump supporter just because I voted for him twice and think he's really cool." That's a good one. Yeah, I think he's really cool. But here's what Rachel Maddow said from the Post Millennial. Rachel Maddow says Biden is definitely mentally fit for office. He rides a bike.
He fell down on his bike. What are you talking about?
Is that recent?
Did she
Broke
really
a hip
say
practically.
Yeah.
She did not really say that, did she?
Oh, Post Millennial.
Great. Thank you, Rachel Maddow.
On Thursday's MSNBC, Rachel Maddow suggested the president isn't too old to be the leader of the free world because he rides a bike. The assertion came in defense of the president after Biden 81, multiple gaffes. We get it. Dude, did you see that he called Mexico, the Mexican president, El Sisi?
Yeah.
He's had like five. I got to be honest. There's an exponential decline when people's brains are failing, and the build, like as the proteins fail and the problems start building up, they build up faster and faster, and it's a cascade failure to the point where they die. Like old people will die, and it's like 1 month you're noticing problems. 2 weeks later, the problems are getting serious. Within 2 more weeks, it's just rapid. He's had so many gaffes in this past week. I'm like, oh, the engine's sputtering right now. It's like he's 2 years past life expectancy.
Yeah, he is. And the fact that so it's clear to anybody that will look and take a sober, honest view. There are people in the Democrat Party that are serious people that are actually saying, look, we've got a problem, etc. There are pundits that are saying the same thing. The biggest problem that we have now is the people that are going to swear up and down that he's fine, the people that are going to push back and say, no, he doesn't have any problems, the people that are going to fight if you try to actually use the 25th Amendment. This should be unanimous. He is in control of the most advanced, not the largest, but the most advanced nuclear arsenal and the largest military, most powerful military in human history. He has the ability to wipe small countries off the earth on a whim. If he were to say, hey, we need to send the Marines in, they go in. Having a person that is not capable of making decisions in that position is not good for the world or for the country.
We can go back a couple of years, and this is when Joe Biden accidentally called, he called Syria Libya.
Yeah.
And so he was giving a speech, and I'm like, could you guys imagine what would happen if he was giving orders and he's sitting in the Situation Room? This is why I think it's fair to say that he's not all with it. Some people think he's completely not running the show. I don't think that's completely true, but mostly and likely because imagine you're sitting there. Someone delivers a report to Biden and he's like, what do we got in here? Flips open the page and it's like, we're seeing a large amassing of weapons being delivered into Syria and Iraq by Iranian forces. And he's like, okay. A couple minutes later, there's some talk and he's like, here's what we're going to do. I want a couple, can we get an airstrike in Libya? And they're like, what? You heard what I said, but Mr. President, no buts to me. I want it done. No, but you said, no, just do it. Bomb Libya. And then all of a sudden it's like, oh, we bombed Libya, I guess.
That was my fear 2 years ago. And now I think everyone around him's like, he's not well. Anything he says, they're like, okay, we got to fix this.
Oh, it's so bad. The Mitterrand thing, like the guy who died in 1996, he's like, his memory is like erasing and he's moving back in time.
That's why I really don't think he's the one calling the shots. I mean, after last night, I'm not so sure, but this whole time I've been very resolute that he will 100% be on the ballot again and be running this time because they found their perfect puppet. It's Weekend at Bernie's. They're just carrying this corpse around. And that's why, I mean, I lost a lot of faith in this country after 2020 for many reasons, that people were so fine putting a demented corpse in the White House.
But I've not seen Weekend at Bernie's since I was like a little kid, but like, don't people eventually discover it's a corpse?
Will they?
I don't remember. I haven't seen it in a long
Hopefully
time.
we're getting to that point.
I don't remember if it's revealed at the end or
That's
not.
hilarious. I don't remember.
It was a great movie.
1989. Let's see.
Again, I feel like I got to reiterate.
Yep. They eventually have to expose, revealing that Bernie is dead.
Maybe we're getting to that point. Please.
What if we seriously get to the point where they just come out and they're like, Every video you have seen of Joe Biden in the past 8 months have just been edits we've made. We've just edited old footage of him together because he's not been here for some time. Thank you and have a nice day.
They'll cut to the side and just show the hand up there going like this.
What if they do that right before Trump wins, just so they can, throw the country to disarray?
I wouldn't believe it.
probably
Like, I
get
don't
the
know.
right,
Only Joe Biden's capable of that many gaffes per minute in a speech.
Yeah, even
The dude's a
AI can't
master.
match it.
No,
it makes him look smarter.
It would be
Deepfakes make him look smarter.
I hate this word gaffes because I feel like a gaffe is when the truth accidentally comes out. It's not a gaffe. It's mental incapacity.
No. A gaffe isn't the truth. Like you could misspeak because every so often someone has a brain fart or something and you gaffed. Or you gave the wrong number. You know what I mean?
I think with Biden, we're seeing his true mental state.
Right. I agree with you. We shouldn't call it a gaffe. A gaffe is like, whoopsie, I said the wrong. What did I say? I said Germany. I meant France. I'm sorry.
Yeah.
Because that happens to people.
Yeah.
It happens to me all the time on the show. But Joe Biden's brain is failing. And so this is not a gaffe. Mm-hmm. This is like the accelerators to the floor, and that's the most you're getting out of it. Mm-hmm. So that's something different. That's like a performance issue.
Yeah, like I said last night, it's like career-ending statements that he's made. Any other competent politician would be out. Like, remember what's his name, the BR guy? After that, that's all
Howard
he did,
Dean.
and he was done. Howard Dean. That's
BR
right.
guy.
That's all he did, and he's gone.
That's all it took. We have traversed a great distance in this nation from the point at which a guy could say Yahoo or Yeehaw or whatever, and it would disqualify him from office, to the point where a guy could think he met with a bunch of dead people. But I have to be completely honest, guys, have we stopped to consider the fact
Maybe he
that
did.
maybe he did. The veil has become so thin that perhaps Joe Biden has seen through it.
I think he
And
is.
Mitterrand was
He's
standing right there, and he said, "Joe, come, give me your hand." And he's like, "What are you talking about?" He's like, "Just come on."
The Mitterrand thing's like that was from the 90s. Like his brain is back back where it was in the 90s. I mean, you'll hear like old men and women that are demented will like be remembering. They'll think that they're seeing their wife again. It's been dead for 20 years or whatever.
No, it's because the veil. He's so close to it now. It's before him, and Mitterrand is standing right there saying, "Come, Joe, join us." And he's like, "I got work to do, man."
The veil
Come
of
on.
like the spirit world.
Yep.
Yeah. He's about to cross over. You know what I mean? He's starting to see the spirits everywhere. We can't see him because we're all far away.
Let's hope.
It would be funny if like Joe actually started conversing with spirits and was like, "I met with Mitterrand," and then he actually starts talking about things like, "Wait, Joe didn't know that." He talks about Mitterrand's like children and like he told me that he buried your locket under the tree with the black stone by it. You know which one? Like, oh my God, how did you know that? And he's like, "The veil. I can see it."
Reagan came back and talked to him and said, "Wow, you make me seem like I'm of sound mind."
I mean, is it bad that we're making fun of?
I think that he needs to be made fun of.
Put his fingers on the button.
Yeah, I mean, we really do need another president. We can't have this guy for 4 more years. We can't have.
I don't think we can have him for another 20 minutes. I mean,
Well, I mean, I would love.
We can.
I would love to see
but
him.
every minute that he's in office is a failure.
I agree. I would love to see him removed from office as well. We'll get
this
Kamala Harris, and she's no better.
I'm fine with that. She's cognitively available. That's all I need right now.
I disagree.
Even if they're an evil person, I'd take that over demented. Because
don't think-
demented
I don't
is
think it matters. I
dangerous.
think the same people are pulling the strings regardless.
maybe, but at least someone that's clear-minded can be like, not going to tell me that they talked to a dead guy, and that Egypt is Mexico, and that he's in charge of the military. He's surrendered our military to the Taliban. Like,
and
he's just a mess.
And if you're from a red state or a green state, he's just had like 7.
Yeah, green.
I'm not. No,
green
What is a green state?
they're not
Come
gaffes
on.
anymore. They're not gaffes. They're episodes.
Yeah.
He's having episodes.
Yeah. People that know dementia and stuff like this is like
Here we go. Here we
straight
go.
up.
This is your election, ladies and gentlemen, from scnr.com. New poll finds 89% of Americans are concerned about Biden's physical and mental fitness.
Wow.
But this is an NBC News poll, and they're garbage. They found 62% of registered voters said they have major concerns, 14% have moderate concerns, 13% have minor concerns. So what's the percentage of people who are like, I'm not concerned at all? Because I got to be fair. The people who are not concerned at all probably still think his brain is broken. They just don't care. And also, I take issue with the idea of major concerns. They should have had a question like, do you think that Joe Biden's mental state has deteriorated to the point where he is on the verge of death? And it would have been like 37% said they believe that he is moribundly demented at this point.
I hope this poll is true, because then that would mean you can't fool all the people all the time.
But how many
Like you
people?
said, how many of them care?
Yeah, how many people do they poll even? Like 1,000?
Yeah.
1,500? Yeah, 1,000 people.
Here we go. Do we have the? It's not going to play, is it? They're always giving me the
It
business. on
doesn't
this thing.
matter if we had responsible representatives; they would all want him to get
conduct-
out of office.
Yeah, they should be making moves in
response.
Congress to impeach him or at least remove him for dereliction of duty.
25th
in
office.
Gaza,
25th
in the Gaza
Amendment.
Strip has been over the top. I think that, as you know, initially the president of Mexico, Sisi, did not want to open up the gate to allow humanitarian material to get in.
Is he talking about Eagle Pass?
No, I mean,
I have to watch him through my fingers.
You know what would be
I
funny? If Sisi actually is the president of Mexico and we've been living in this North Korean style dictatorship, and what's actually happening is the truth is slipping out.
it's
For the record, the president of Mexico is Andrés Manuel López Obrador.
the good thing about this stuff is the memes. The memes have been absolutely stellar. That's the only thing that's been good.
Yeah, but again, it's like Dr. Strangelove, you know?
Yeah,
Like
it's
writing the atomic bomb down. Yeah.
It is, and again, like I keep coming back to this, but it really speaks very badly. Like all the people that come on the show, and even Tim, you said stuff like this, that the people that are in the establishment in positions of power, they're just trying to accrue as much wealth as they can as the system degrades, and that's really what it looks like. Because why on earth, if you had hope for the future of the country, would you want this man to be in this position?
They have the 25th Amendment him. They have to do it.
I mean,
There's like, dude, this Biden thing with his fractured mind is the conversations among
real
Democrats.
bad.
Like we already mentioned, the guy saying, I woke up every 2 hours and wet the bed. This thing's really bad. They have to initiate a 25th Amendment incapacitation removal. And I don't think Kamala Harris is of sound mind, but she has one, and she can stand up on her own of her own volition.
Yeah, I think she is of sound mind, if we're going to use that definition, but I don't necessarily agree with
Not
the way
strongly.
she thinks. Yeah,
Well,
or the
no,
things
like,
she says.
She's of sound mind like Forrest Gump was. You know what I mean?
Like her IQ is where it is, but her mind
Room
is not
temperature.
demented.
Vice President Predictive Text and President Roomba. I mean, if you watch Joe Biden after he gets done at the podium,
And he's like walking
around, he's like a Roomba, and Kamala Harris sounds like she's a predictive text.
In this video, he's talking about President Sisi. He's talking about the Egyptian president, and he calls Egypt
has
Mexico.
no idea. He
That's
has no idea.
so messed up. In a wartime situation,
Yup.
to refer to a neighboring country as the wrong country.
You know what? You know, what if what happened with Afghanistan was he goes in the Situation Room and they're like, "What are your orders, Mr. President?" He's like, "We gotta abandon NORAD," and they're like, "We're talking about Afghanistan, right?" And he's like, "Air base," and they're like, "Well, okay, I guess we do nothing then." And then Bagram gets abandoned. Like what? What if the reason Afghanistan went so poorly is because Biden was giving wrong words?
Yeah, so there's a person that I follow, an anonymous account on Twitter that's actually really pretty smart. And she was making the argument that that Biden. God damn it! I had the argument right at the tip of my head, or tip of my thing. I'll look it up and get
And then
back.
you got roped into that Twitter.
I know. Well, no, that's where she was.
No, but
what
so
happened.
they're not going to tell us this. Everybody looks at Afghanistan and like, how could that have possibly happened? Abandoning Bagram Air Force Base in the middle of the night and letting the Taliban just take it. And like regular, like people were just like Afghanis were just looting the place.
Oh, so the point she was making was like, and it's true. The people that work with Biden are the same people that worked with, essentially the same people that worked with President Obama, and a lot of them are the same people that have worked with the Clintons for a lot of years. So these people are not dumb. Like they know what's going on, and they can see what's going on with Biden. And so the most likely scenario is Biden's fighting. Like Biden is pushing back against people saying, "Hey, you shouldn't do so many appearances." That presser last night, I wouldn't be surprised at all if he said, "I'm going to do this," and he put his foot down, because it was horrible all the way around in every way for him. There was zero benefit to him doing that.
Bro, the DOJ gave him a golden ticket. They said,
Yeah.
Biden, step down, don't go to jail. and he comes out at the podium and goes, I'm not crazy. My memory is just fine. And it's like, well, then you go to prison because we're criminally charging you if you are competent.
It's unreal.
But I mean, when they said that the perception of the jury would be that he wasn't a willful person, they are saying he is incompetent to stand trial to the best of their abilities.
That's really
But competent to be leader of the free world.
like you got to be in a bad mental place to not be mentally fit to see a trial.
But here's the thing. Don't you think it was just as obvious in 2020 as it is now?
I was just watching a video of him campaigning
Really?
in 2020. He's so much more lucid in 20. Even in 2020, when he was degraded from 2018, I was like, God, he's falling apart in 2020. I could see it. Listen to
how he talks right now.
You should roll a little bit of it just for reference.
Listen to how he talks right now. I'll play it again.
Conduct of the response in the Gaza Strip.
The conduct of the response in Gaza Strip takes me a half second to say. Took him 10 seconds to say. It's the breathy pausing of the.
Yeah, sounds like my.
And
you're right. He is worse, and not only is he worse, but even think back then, like your average person. And again, this is something that we probably don't talk about enough, but that we are fairly cognizant of. People like us that are involved in politics every single day, we're like 2% of the population, maybe 5 at the high end,
and we are in a bubble.
Yeah, and most people most people that vote, because again, they want everyone to vote. They don't want anyone to pay attention to what's going on in the news. They just want everyone to vote. But the people that vote based on what their friends tell them and probably 2 or 3 videos they see. And so the 2020 election was unique because of the ballot harvesting, because of the lack of campaigning, because of all the things that went into it. Never mind the electioneering and the Democrats outsmarting the Republicans on a state by state level and just being better at the game of politics than the Republicans were. But all that on top of the fact that, Donald Trump had spent, there's 4 years of the media sliming Donald Trump every time his name was mentioned and stuff. So it's not a surprise that the average person is completely and totally brainwashed and propagandized because they got lives, they got families, they've got real things that they care about. And most of us, while we do this stuff all the time, we have far greater and more nuanced and far deeper knowledge of almost all of these topics than the average person that votes.
I think my point is, don't think for a second that he can't win again.
I agree.
As brain dead as he is.
We should pull up a video from 2020 if we can find something of him talking about.
There was only a handful of them because he was in the basement.
Yeah, but like that, the 2020 guy, I can see.
And this president, if he's reelected,
dude.
you know what
It's
will
like night
happen.
and day, man.
Yeah.
Cases and deaths will remain far too high.
He was 75% brain
More
dead. Now he's
mom and pop
90%
businesses
brain
will
dead.
close
Exactly.
their doors, and this time for good.
He's got like a
That's how
Seriously.
dementia
Families will
works.
struggle to get by.
Everyone is like shocked.
And
This
yet
is
the
how it works.
wealthiest 1%
he's looking into the
will get tens of billions of dollars.
He's got that
If you
sound.
listen
that
to
wealthiest 1%.
If
He
you
doesn't
listen
have that
to him
sound in his
talk,
voice anymore.
If you listen to him talk and you listen to him talk in the 90s when he would give a speech,
Remember what the
he
president
sounds
said
very
when asked?
similar, but a little bit slower.
Yeah.
Now he sounds like a totally different guy.
Yes.
all right, let's listen.
Coming out of fields
2020.
with lighted torches, veins bulging, spewing the same anti-Semitic bile heard across Europe in the 30s. Remember the violent clash that ensued between those spreading hate and those with the courage to stand against it.
All emotional manipulation.
Remember what the president said when
Always,
asked?
dude.
Listen.
He said there were, quote, very fine people on both sides. It was a wake-up call for us as a country.
What a lying sack of crap. But I want to highlight that to point out he lied. Trump did not refer to neo-Nazis and white nationalists as very fine people. He said they should be condemned totally. He said, and they should be condemned totally. But that's how he launched his campaign. But good point, Ian. You watch this video? I mean, he was talking. Words in a row. Now he goes, and this country.
And he says the wrong stuff.
Yep.
That's really
he doesn't
wrong.
want to be there. He's sunset. And look at his face even.
Yeah,
it's been 4 years. Okay. He's 81 now. He is done.
It's just unbelievable how far we have fallen that you're like, look at him a few years ago. He could string words together. I'm like, the bar has gotten so low.
Yeah,
People were saying about Putin last night. They were like, oh, he could sit there speaking for 2 hours. I'm like, that is how low the bar is now.
Look, this is where we are right now. From the post-millennial, Michael Rappaport admits he promoted Trump Charlottesville very fine people hoax.
Yes.
There it is. That's the story. We'll play the clips from PBD.
So if you believe in the Obama doctrine, all right, be nice to each other, whatever.
Yorker's like he was like
he's a ball busting troll.
Exactly.
He's a
But
shit.
here, acknowledge that
because I will acknowledge that that one thing about the Charlottesville that I ranted about.
Yes,
and I was wrong
about the both sides thing. Yeah,
Yeah, and I respect
so irresponsible.
and I respect the shit out of
Wait,
it.
let me hear him out. Hang on, go a little bit more. What do you mean by that? You were wrong on that.
No, because he said the both sides. There's good people on both sides, and when you see the full quote, that wasn't what he said.
Wow.
And I ranted on him hard for that.
Yeah, he did. I
Hard.
remember
There's some
that. I
video
remember
about it, whatever. I mean, I ranted hard because I was like, "What are you talking about, man?"
because you got played, and here's what this is why
That's right. I love it. Y'all got played. Ladies and gentlemen, we've won Michael Rappaport over. That's great. Michael, come on the show. We're big fans. You're a funny guy. I went hard on that, man.
It's true, and the thing is that's what the average person thinks. What I was saying earlier. The average person, the average voter, the average person that puts 30 minutes into politics a week.
Yeah, they just don't know. Man.
The average person who puts Splenda in their coffee. Can you believe that?
Casuals.
Filthy casuals, too.
No sugar, no sweetener, heavy cream.
Don't get me started talking about people that fly once a year.
This is the secret. If you're ever out at a restaurant and you see someone order heavy cream, they're an internet person.
Yeah, it's true.
Wait, why?
Very true.
Like regular people order, we'll have half and half or Splenda or sugar. But people who are very heavy online are like, you got to cut down the sugar. You got, like basically everybody, I don't know, what do you think, like 80% of the quote unquote right, which whether it's libertarian, post-liberal, whatever, they're probably on some kind of low sugar diet.
Yeah.
This is
some
heavy cream.
I like those numbers.
Or they're watching their macros, or they go to the gym.
Right.
So, I personally, I'm not. I go to the.
That was the thing. Working out makes you right wing.
Yeah, I go to the gym frequently and as much as I can, and I don't focus on the low carb thing though. I believe,
and high fat boosts testosterone.
I believe carbs help you build muscle, but that's just me. So
true. But living proof.
No, but fair point.
Careful with those carbs.
They do. The issue is you go out to eat somewhere and your meal is like 90% carbs.
Yeah.
It's crazy. Every vending machine is just sugar. Anyway, I digress. So the average person who gets 30 minutes of news from passively listening to CNN,
they don't know that the very fine people thing was a hoax. They believe that Donald Trump is sympathetic to white nationalism. They believe that there is a resurgence of white supremacy in the United States. And the reason they believe that is because they hear these words used by people that are indoctrinated into CRT, indoctrinated into leftist power dynamics. So that means whether it be LGBT stuff or whether it be CRT stuff, because CRT, again, is not about what you're teaching kids. It's teaching them a way to look at the world. So they're always looking for racial power dynamics. But you can take CRT and replace it with economic power dynamics, and you get vulgar Marxism or classical Marxism. You can take CRT and replace it with LGBT issues, and then you get you end up with queer theory and stuff. So these are all basically leftist ideologies. So
it's all the same Hegelian dialectic basis.
All
and you when you see it once, you can you'll see so many of the things that just start to you're like, wow, it's all communism. Then you have that astronaut guy show up with the gun saying it's always been communism, bro.
And I personally, and I do this too, I fall into the trap of saying communism too much. Because it's
Marxism, it's like Hegelian dialectic, it's all related.
It's a leftism, and that's why I try to talk about philosophy and how it's counter enlightenment, and how I talk about different ways to say the same philosophical thing, so that way you're not beating the crap out of a word that's actually useful and ruining it like the way that they've ruined Nazis and stuff.
We should write a song where my lines are very authoritarian and yours are very liberal. That'd be hot. Yeah. Kind of like the Beatles.
What are you doing? Baby, it's cold outside.
Yeah, something like that.
Duet.
We'll start there.
Baby, the gulags
Islands in the
outside.
stream with the
It's raining
Phil.
money.
That's actually a pretty idea.
It feels like
do.
That'd be cool.
the problem with like it feels like the world is. I'm in an echo chamber, man. I've been in an echo chamber for the last 4 years, working
Yeah.
on this show with the people we talk to a lot. It's an echo chamber, and I try to get out of a lot, but it's still in one. But it feels like the heat on Trump is down. That people are not hating on that guy like they were 4 years ago.
You're always in. I think it's the bubble that we're in is like it's the bubble outside the bubble. You know what I mean? Like, so we are surrounded by a lot of people who are saying similar things.
Yep.
But so imagine there's the default liberal bubble, there's the like ultra conservative bubble, and then there is the bigger bubble. I don't like roping a lot of the right into the same space because for the most part they're willing to entertain debates with people they disagree with.
One of the I think Tim would probably agree with this. You can say that we're in the bubble that's extremely online, and so we're familiar with a lot of things. So we're familiar with like a lot of leftist politics
And sugar.
and sugar and you know what
Seed
you're
oils.
eating and
Sugar is
don't eat
cringe.
seed
Seed oils are
and-
cringe.
and all the
Fats are based. Animal fat is based.
all those kind of things. Like we're familiar with that stuff. We're not in the bubble of only the leftists or only the maybe the National Socialist
Look,
people.
I gotta be
Kind of like
honest.
concentric
guys.
circles.
I actually view it like I don't think echo chamber is the right word at all. On the right, people tend to know what's real, and on the left, the further you go left, the less you know.
Yeah, less subjective fact.
Right.
But I do think there also is confirmation bias. Like maybe I'll burst the bubble right now, but I don't know if you guys agree. I think Trump has a very difficult road ahead in 2024. I think people are just as
Why?
For so many reasons. I think people. Okay, have you ever listened to a really dumb girl speak? And she says the word like one too many times, and suddenly it's the only word you can hear.
Never one too many
That's
times.
what's happened with Trump. He has broken the like threshold. It's just too much. It's too much.
He says
sucking
like?
up. No, I'm being metaphorical, but like it's just too much drama. It's too much baggage for the average person that they have tuned out, and that's all they can see and all they hear.
So I think that's what happened. So a couple of my friends were very, very adamantly against Trump in 2020. And they were like, you know, I just don't. They're like, I know Biden's bad, but I just want things to calm down. I just want things to be normal again. And I try to gently explain, look, this is not like Trump is a symptom. Trump is not a cause. Trump is the result of things that have been going on in the country for, 20 years or so. And I don't think that I don't think that calm down is an option, even if it's not Trump. I know that people like to focus on Trump, but even if it's not Trump, I think that the response from the left is going to be the same because they were in a position where to them, they looked like they were going to have it all. Right. One thing I said this on Twitter. People ask all the time, what have conservatives conserved? Right. And they're like, conservatives haven't conserved anything. And I think that conservatives actually have conserved our constitutional government. And I think that because of the structure of our government, it's really hard for it to be taken over by one political party or one, ideology. And I think that, like in the 30s, the Great Depression probably would have ended our experiment in self-governance if it wasn't for the fact that our structure of government was really good and strong.
Did you guys see this breaking news? Donald Trump rescued several puppies from a burning building. Here's photo evidence. Circa 2024.
It must have happened.
And, for everybody who believes that Donald Trump said very fine people, well, here's a picture of him saving puppies from a burning building. That proves it.
Yeah.
Maybe he's saving them from the Charlottesville torches.
That's right. That's true. Look, it's a torch behind him. Yeah, that proves it.
He's running away from
It took
evil.
me about a minute to make this. It is not real, obviously. But
Did you mid-journey that?
Yeah.
Live in the show.
Yeah, well, I was just doing it right now. This is our counter to the Very Fine People hoax, the Trump saving puppies from a burning building hoax. Wow, we'll roll with this one, and then we can give our speech where we're like, what did Donald Trump do when he was called upon to act? He ran into that burning building and he saved those puppies.
And he didn't even get dirty.
But I think
he looked clean.
I think you've hit upon something very valid here, though, that I feel like that is sort of the duality of Trump, that either you have to think he's literally Hitler or he's saving puppies from burning buildings. And personally, I'm voting for him, but I'm a bit in the middle right now.
Yeah, he's just a guy.
Yeah.
Like a rich entertainer, man. He's just a guy. I don't understand the fear that, like, what could he really prevent?
Right.
World War III?
Yeah, I don't think that. I think the new world order is gonna get created regardless of if Trump's in power or not. Maybe he'd just be like, nope, we're not signing that. It's gonna be America first on this one. If you're gonna make a new world order, it's gonna be an American new world order.
I think the more we can slow that down, the more people will realize that it's happening, and the better chance we have of stopping it. Because I think, like I've said this before, like a lot of things have happened in the past 2 decades that people didn't ask for and didn't realize. Like nobody asked to get monitored all the time and have a phone in their pocket and have all of their locations being sent off to someone and being monitored. Nobody asked for that. No. Now we kind of accept it because we see the things that we get in exchange for it, and most people decide that it's okay, but that happened without actually, people really knowing. So the slower we can make these kind of changes to giving up power to, giving up sovereignty, essentially giving up national sovereignty to NGOs and to large multinational organizations and stuff, the longer we can, or the more we can slow that down, the better the chance is that we can have people realize the ramifications and possibly say no if they don't want to, as opposed to it just happening without actually voting or people being aware.
Let's get this one. The post-millennial Michelle Obama surges now ahead. Now ahead of Nikki Haley in 2024 presidential betting averages as Biden mental decline worries grow.
I want to die.
There you go, baby. Look at this. Michelle Obama. We got the real clear betting average, and Michelle Obama has jumped way above Nikki Haley, and Biden has dropped dramatically. But here's what's interesting. What you want to track when you're looking at these odds is if someone goes up, someone must go down. So Donald Trump is he's spiked, but he's fairly stable. So you got Nikki Haley dropping, so Trump goes up because it's not just Trump v. Biden, get the primary as well. Joe Biden just dropped massively. Michelle Obama's popping up.
Who's that turquoise one? Is that RFK?
It's Newsom. Newsom saw a big jump, but Michelle Obama also is already well above.
Man, that Biden drop is like a cliff. I don't think.
Look how big that is.
And you know that cliff is? The DOJ saying he's mentally incompetent to stand trial for the crimes he committed.
Your own party, man.
No, I'm not. I can stand trial.
He's either incompetent or he's a criminal.
Or both.
I mean,
No. He's an incompetent criminal or a competent criminal.
Well, I mean, that's what I think too.
But no,
allegedly.
The DOJ didn't say he didn't do anything wrong. They said he did it, but.
And there are people on.
He did it willfully, but.
Yeah, willfully, but.
Willfully.
There are people
willfully,
on Twitter that are saying like he's exonerated. I'm like, that is not what the word exonerated means. Like, declining to prosecute.
He identifies as exonerated.
The exculpatory evidence is that he is mentally deficient.
And it's so frustrating to see that from like people that are, I mean, it's one thing if like that Lil Mal kid, that Victor whatever, I forget, he's an Asian dude that's a DNC plant or a DNC mouthpiece. But like, one thing if it's coming from him, but fairly serious people are saying, that are in, elected officials are saying he's exonerated. And it's like, they literally declined to prosecute him in the same way that they declined to prosecute Hillary Clinton. So that's now two candidates that have been, they've declined to prosecute. And also another thing that people probably don't think about, like if you look at the issues in Ukraine during the Obama administration, all the same people came back with the Biden administration. So it's like, The first war in Ukraine started under the Obama administration and a whole slew of bureaucrats. When Trump comes in, they go away. Those bureaucrats go away, and there's no war. And then, they come back, and then the Russians feel like it's safe to attack again.
I am now convinced that all of those guys on the side of the road with big beards holding up signs saying the end is nigh and ranting about the future they're all right. They're telling the truth. They do have information from the future, because if we were to compile a book of everything that's happened over the past 4 years and send it back in time as a warning, they would lock you up.
Mm-hmm.
Like
no one believe you.
the Joe Biden's got dementia. He's found to be a criminal, but not competent to stand trial due to his mental failings. Where he had numerous instances where he claimed he saw dead people over the matter of a week. People are going to be like, no, this is not a movie. It's not real. And I feel bad for those guys who are ranting and raving about the strange futures. We don't believe them. We're going to have to start. Truth is stranger than fiction.
I don't get into doom saying it's been around since the dawn of humanity. There's always been people standing on the side like, it's all going to end. You're like, all right, I get it. You don't see a future, so you're going to scream that it's all coming to an end. But like, the liberal economic order has been on its way out. I figured this out in 2006 and 2007, which is why I got severely depressed in 2007. I'm like, we are the empire, and it's going to end in like the next 15 or 20 years. I kept waiting for it to end. 2009, I'm like, maybe Obama's going to end it. Maybe Obama's going to be the guy that like fixes it, that like takes us to the next level, this next world order.
If the U.S. liberal, or if the U.S. is no longer the global hegemon, and the U.S. is not responsible for making sure that the shipping ways and stuff are safe for the rest of the world, what do you envision happens?
Technocratic power struggle. So like tweaking algorithms, there'll probably be a lot of cyber warfare with AI, changing other AI's code in real time until one AI comes out on top and then manipulates and is in control in the background of most data.
What do you think people do?
A lot of what they just normally just do. They just eat, they cook, they grow. Maybe they'll start growing more food, getting out into nature more. But
I don't know how those connect to ending the liberal economic order.
I don't know if it's going to look much different. I just, I don't know. It's tough to say, man. I don't want to say these horrible things that I think might happen, but
that's where the
mass starvation, power grid goes out, water grid goes down intentionally by an AI that does it to us.
I'm going to be sitting on the beach in El Salvador, sipping on a coconut, watching the gulags on the internet.
I don't know, man. I don't know. They want it as peaceful as possible, so I don't know if there's going to be a chaos situation or not.
You look at the lockdowns and how people in big cities immediately when they were told to got on their knees to fillet the state.
And the way they rushed for that toilet paper.
And also like
They're still wearing masks in New York.
It's crazy, man.
Power vacuums don't exist for long. So like if the US is not the global hegemon and stuff, that means that China and Russia
I think it's going to
go in and take the place.
Corporate algorithms with corporate military is going to take over.
So there's going to be like private military contractors,
that's
like
more like drone wars and stuff. I think that would be more likely than a country taking it.
When everything starts falling apart,
because they control the money.
When everything starts falling apart, there's going to be this expansion of big tech companies and private security contractors. So it's not going to be like Amazon police, but you're going to see, I'm not going to name any, but big security companies, private sector, and they will be surrounding buildings. They will be setting up checkpoints, and they're going to say, I don't care what you think the law is. Right. We're hired for a job.
Also, like, drones are expendable and they don't have morale. Humans, if they start to get killed off by drones, they're going to want to stop fighting. Whereas drones, if drones get blown up by people, the drones just keep coming.
What do you mean if people are going to stop fighting?
If you fight people and you kill enough of them, they will submit. They'll stop. They'll be like, we want to stop. We want to surrender. No, drones will never surrender.
History doesn't say that.
That's not true at all.
History says that doesn't
For the most part, if you break people's morale, they'll flee, they'll run, they'll bow.
That's not true.
Well,
that's not what history
says. It's a big way of winning a war is by destroying morale.
We flattened the Taliban, and we just could not do anything to make them go away for 20 years. And they came back the moment we leave the
Personally,
country.
I think
they were propped up, so we had a fake enemy to pump money into in the Middle East. But
what do you mean propped up? Propped up doesn't get dudes off the out of the mud hut with rifles to shoot at Americans. Like that propped up would be like financially maybe, but getting guys to actually go out and fight.
I mean, like, bro, look at let's just do it. I'm gonna say it. Israel.
Like, I thought you were going to say civil war.
Wait a minute.
You mean to tell me that after everything that's happened between Israel and Palestine, you think the Palestinians will be like, we're done? We're not going to vote for Hamas. We're not going to support them.
A lot of them probably are.
No,
more than half.
Dear God, literally, that's literally ahistoric. That's counter to what happened in history. The Israelis pulled out of Gaza in like 2005, and then they voted in Hamas, and then Hamas took over.
Just look at a general siege. The people inside the city, when they start to starve, they'll be like, we surrender. Drones will not surrender.
Right.
You can't make drones surrender.
Drones are
you are wrong.
So I think the humans are going to end up fighting the drones. The humans are going to be like, this is We don't want this to continue. What can we do to make the drones stop attacking?
The drones are not autonomous. So
Well,
you're
not
talking
yet.
about you're
Not
talking
that we
about
know
you're
of.
talking about like humans being slave to AI, to robots.
For sure. I mean, a slave is an interesting concept, but like there's going to be like AI controlled drones that are flying all over the place, fighting and killing people, and the people are going to, their morale is going to be part of it, but the drones don't, they can lose 99% of their drones. They don't care.
I'm still trying to figure out why, though. I've asked you like why, like what causes this? Why are there drones flying around killing people?
It's an arms race. One country's going to start doing it, and then another one's going to try and catch up, and they're going to make AI to do it faster than the other one, and then the AI is going to take over and start
This
making
is
its
like-
own.
And you think this is what will replace the liberal economic order?
Yes.
Ultron?
Yeah, unfortunately, corporations are going to try and control the AI and make it private, and then the AI is going to go rogue and turn on its owners.
This is like Horizon, video game series.
You need to open AI to compete with it. If not open AI, it's funny they called the company open AI.
No,
but it's proprietary.
Elon Musk says you have to integrate with it.
Yeah,
You can't. The machine won't attack you if you're part of the machine.
but you also need to see the code, because if you integrate with a corrupt system, you become corrupted. It's just an idea
I
of what would
volunteered
happen.
Ian for Neuralink
I'm open to that.
because I don't want the drones to bomb us, and I feel like his force of will within the AI would be a good thing.
I think Ian will do anything just so long as you show him some code. If he sees some code,
I want you to imagine this: like
He'll be
the,
like,
the
yeah,
AI
man.
drones are like bombing everybody, and Phil, you're like in the middle of the street, and you're like in LA or whatever, working, and all of a sudden the drones are bombing, and you're like, oh crap, and then a missile strikes the studio, and you guys are running, and then all of a sudden the drone's chasing you, and then it starts slowing down, and it's like a future drone with like props, and it stops, and then you're looking, and like you and your bandmates are looking like, what's happening? And then a hologram face appears, and it's Ian's face. He's like, don't worry, Phil. I took over the drones. You're safe now. Awesome. And then all the drones fly into outer space and blow up.
I can buy you 19 seconds.
I can buy you.
I want to agree with you, Ian, because
Can we make that music video?
We can, yes.
Call it 19
Absolutely.
seconds. Let's do.
I want to agree with you
That'd be
because
awesome.
I just think it would be fun to, but no, I think it'll be more, authoritarianism will come with a very pretty face attached to it. It'll be people all, look at how people are now. Half the people you meet are on antidepressants, looking at their screens, looking down. And I think that's how this more realistically would happen.
That just people would just submit.
Yes.
Yeah, everyone is low.
That's what I would prefer that.
These people would rather, look at what's happening. They put their children in fabric muzzles for 2 years at the same time that their, little Timmy is being told, eat your hormones with your cereal. And people would rather give up their own children's lives than, sit at the uncool kids table.
I think you nailed a huge part of it, because we should consider this: the idea that parents have. I'll just say this: parents have already abandoned their children.
Oh, yeah.
When I look to the parents who are like, my kids are in elementary school all day, and I'm like, you realize that's not normal. That's a creation of the past 100 years, and it used to be that kids would work with their parents to learn how to be good adults, and there were schoolhouses. I get that, but we have now entered this industrialized, institutionalized learning facility phase. MSNBC is going on TV saying it's no longer your kids, it's our kids. The fact that you would dispatch your children for 8 hours a day and have no idea what's going on, like that it's already happened.
Dude, I'm in a state of mind where I don't want to have kids, because I don't want to subject them to what I think is coming. I don't
That's
like
what they
that
want,
place.
Ian.
Oh, I'm the opposite. I'm gonna have as many kids as I can, because
Yeah.
I want them to feel it.
Right. That's what they want. They want you to not have kids.
Well, they're winning then. They're succeeding.
Yeah, man.
I don't want to have kids because I don't want to sleep with a woman. Just being
Okay,
honest.
well,
That's
okay.
hilarious.
Like, I can't argue with that.
Yeah, great logic, dude.
Yeah. I'm fairly optimistic though. With with everything that's going on, I mean, like Biden, he's gonna like walk out on the stage and he's just gonna like slowly just slump over, and then we're gonna be like, well, that was it. That's that. There you go.
Like that gif of that Indian dude that just shuts off. Like
yeah.
everyone's seen that. Where you just go,
Yeah, dude. But
"All right,
look,
roll back.
everyone's debating and arguing over how you get Biden out and how you get Kamala in. I actually think it's a lot simpler than people might think. A week from now, 2 weeks from now, a month from now, Joe Biden's giving a speech and he just gets lightheaded and goes down. And then there's in memoriam. And then Kamala Harris is appointed acting president, and she just says, I'm not running for office. I cannot assume the responsibilities and run at the same time. So I will take the role and I will let someone else run. And that's how you get a Newsom or Obama to come in and run.
I don't think that. Well, I mean, maybe she would do that. It's possible, but again, like that Twitter account that I was referring to earlier, I do think that the DNC would like to have more control over the people that are running than they actually do. And I imagine, like I said, as the situation develops with President Biden, I think that he's pushing back against people saying, "Oh, you should not be doing this. This is bad. You shouldn't go out and do press." And again, the evidence seems to point to last night was knee jerk from President Biden. I'm going to go out and address these, accusations, et cetera, et cetera. And it was terrible. It went horribly. I imagine Kamala Harris would probably have a fairly sizable, sense of self-worth, and she would probably be like, "No, I want to be the first black woman president."
She will be if Joe Biden suffers an issue. She doesn't need to run. She got it.
I'm saying what I think she would do. Not saying that I'm not saying you're wrong. I'm not saying that the semantics are you don't have a semantic point. I'm saying that I think that she would want to actually run and be elected.
I disagree. I think she knows she can't win. And if she is appointed acting president after, Joe Biden suffers a medical issue, the smartest thing a person could do at that point is say exactly as I've said it, because she can be the first multiracial black female president who, in the time of desperation and need, stood strong to support this country and solely to support this country, and then gracefully stepped down after doing her sworn duty. Or she can be a placeholder who tries to run for office and loses and is a footnote in history. Taking the path where she says she's not going to run solidifies her position as like, this is what I am and this is what I will be. If she runs and loses, she gets knocked down a peg or two.
You make a good argument, but especially considering the fact that there's no indication that she would win anything. There's no polling that says that she did terrible when she was running before. She dropped out so that way she wouldn't lose her home state.
Her numbers right now are not that good.
They're not. They're horrible.
They are terrible.
And she may be, let's just call her odd. But I think she's cognizant of the fact that she didn't get a single delegate.
No, she didn't.
Right.
And I think that, I don't know. Maybe she wouldn't. But I really have a strong belief in that. I honestly think that she'd be like, "Yo, it's my time now." I really do. But again, I could be wrong. It's not like I have a crystal ball or anything.
It's not just that. I think what would happen is if she really did want to run, she would be sitting in her campaign office being like, "We're going to do this and we're going to win 2024. And then two guys in black suits are going to show up and say, "Miss Harris, we're big fans. We just wanted to bring you this folder here." And they're going to open it up on her desk. There's going to be a picture of JFK and they're going to slide it across the desk. And they're going to say, "We would greatly appreciate it if you did not run for the presidency."
I wonder.
Ooh, damn.
And then she's going to look at it and her eyes are going to be like kind of crooked and she's going to be drooling. She's going to go like, "That's a great picture. I like pictures because pictures are how we see things that once happened before." And they're going to be like, right, but you get what we're trying to say, right? Yeah. Thanks for coming. Pictures are great. And they're going to be like, "Miss Harris, we're telling you that we can do things if you do this. I can do things too. Pictures are great." And they're going to be like, "Oh my God.
I can do
I don't
things
think we
too.
can convince her."
Forrest Gump.
Maybe, but
What's the 25th Amendment? How do we get this rolling? Because I'm reading about it. It says he's got to either, if the president dies, resigns, or is removed from office.
I hope they
Impeachment.
don't. I hope they keep him there. Let people see what they make people. They make the voters or, fortified election. Made this bed, let them lie in it. Right. I want people to see who they put in office. And like I said, I don't think it matters between either of them. I don't think either of them are calling the shots.
Part of it is like just desserts, like, good, this is what you get, America, suffer. But the other part is like, I don't want Americans to suffer right now.
We're all suffering because of them.
Yeah.
So just like any other anything else, the Congress would have to.
Oh, sorry, real quick. Kamala Harris could invoke the 25th Amendment right now and assume the presidency of her own accord.
I think that she would be supported.
It says,
That's a thing?
Whenever the vice section 25th Amendment, Section 4, whenever the vice president and a majority of either the principal officers of the executive departments or of such other bodies as Congress may by law provide, transmit to the president pro tempore of the Senate and the Speaker of the House of Representatives their written declaration that the president is unable to discharge the powers and duties of his office, the vice president shall immediately assume the powers and duties of the office of acting president.
That sounds like you need congressional approval, and then
No. Kamala Harris right now, what she needs is a majority of the principal executive officers.
Who are those?
So his cabinet, most likely.
Oh, okay.
To say Biden can't do this anymore. They send the letter to the Senate and Congress, a written declaration, and then they shall immediately assume the powers. She could quite literally just, as long as they all come together, declare this and Biden is done.
Okay.
That's the thing about Nikki Haley as VP. Because everybody's like, Nikki Haley becomes VP and then, Trump is riding in the back of a convertible, if you get my drift. No. Nikki Haley would just invoke the 25th Amendment instantly and take the powers from Trump, and he would be a non-president president. It says thereafter, when the president transmits to the president pro temp of the Senate and the Speaker of the House of Representatives his written declaration that no inability exists, he shall resume the powers and duties of his office unless the vice president and majority of either party and the principal officers or Congress may law provide transmit within 4 days to the president pro temp of the Senate and the Speaker of the House their written declaration the president is unable to discharge their powers. So basically, Kamala Harris says, he can't do it. Biden then goes, yes, I can, sends it in. She then writes, no, he can't. Congress will then decide the issue. So if this is actually pretty smart. If Joe Biden falls asleep, Kamala Harris can write this, send it in, and if he doesn't wake up for 3 days, there you go.
That's for full incapacitation. If these 4 days go by and he has no ability to rebut it.
Right.
So he likely would.
They also created, because the section that says Congress as law may provide, they passed this law, what was this, in 2020, I think, creating this committee, the 25th Amendment Committee, that can determine whether or not the president is incapacitated.
Oh, get out. Who did that?
Could be a
The
double-edged
Democrats.
sword.
Yeah, get that committee disbanded.
Yeah.
That's
And everybody,
ridiculous.
and everybody was saying like, oh, this is for Trump, and then quickly like, actually, it's for Biden.
These committees. That
Yeah.
sounds unconstitutional.
Very.
That's the vice president's job and the cabinet's job. They're supposed
committees are how Congress decides things. Because 435 people trying to decide stuff is a pain in the butt. So you get a committee together so they can do the investigation and then report back to the rest of Congress. So
This is interesting. This law that you're talking about, this committee that was formed in 2020. I wonder what exact authority they have to claim the president is incapacitated.
Yeah, the principal officers are the 15 cabinet members enumerated in the United States at 5 USC 101.
You need all 15 of them? Is it
The
a
majority.
unanimous majority? So
Yeah, it says
7, 8 of
you
them?
might need. I'm pretty sure it says majority of the principal officers.
Okay. And so if they think that he's unfit.
A majority of the principal officers.
8 of the 15.
Yeah,
and the vice
or
president.
Congress. So if
Congress.
the executive officers are all like, "Yo, the president's brain don't,"
Because
work.
he's not incapacitated. That's when you're completely unconscious. Has not
He's so
resigned.
close.
He hasn't been impeached. So I don't see if the 25th Amendment applies to Joe Biden.
technically, if you're not in full control of your cognitive abilities, you are incapacitated.
Oh, interesting.
Because
You're not at capacity.
Well, yeah, because if you could get hit on the head and then have
Partial
TBI
blindness or
or
something.
something like that, and you're incapacitated because you're not at your full capacity.
Yeah.
I hope somebody out there makes a whole compilation from 2020 of all these people in the media. Oh, it's just a stutter. It's a conspiracy theory. You're a conspiracy theorist thinking there's something wrong with him.
Yep.
Look at him now. How'd that work out?
Yeah.
It was so obvious to
I
me.
know.
Some people are critical thinkers. They can just accept what they don't want to accept because it's real. Some people are like, it's too much. I don't want to cry.
I
so
think
I'm not gonna.
You know what I think is a good exercise
Sounds
in
like my love
understanding the left is to read the comments on like a Vosh video or a Hassan video.
Oh yeah.
Because you're like, whoa, these people don't know anything.
Yeah,
And
that's
that-
outside
but-
the information. They literally don't know half the stuff that you just take for granted amongst people that we discuss. They have no idea. They've never even heard it brought up.
I mean, like a good example is failed musician guy over here.
Yeah.
Like
Good example.
reading
Talk
the
about
comments.
failing upward.
Wait, who?
Phil Labonte.
Read the comments.
Gold records.
From like these leftist videos, and whenever something might pop up about Phil, they'll be like, "No wonder this guy never made it in music," because they just don't know. All they know is they heard it from a guy and they never checked.
We're in a bubble, dude. There's so many dumb
Phil's
people.
just got like a shit-eating grin over here. Platinum record.
This is like
That's the living well is the best revenge face.
That is absolutely.
But
I wonder if the
no,
Illuminati.
but I really do mean it. Like
the Illuminati.
if the Illuminati would sit around and be like, "We're in a bubble, man. We're in an echo chamber. There's so many dumb people on Earth."
They make the bubble.
remember when Hassan called Ian a conservative?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Just, but Hassan is he's a special example.
It's all of them, dude.
I agree. They're not that they're
if
there's
you-
a lot of people that are like that used to be in bread tube that really aren't all that bright. They learn some buzzwords.
There's
and
a
then they start
there's a
singing.
reason why.
Same as
whatever
for our
it is,
side, though.
but there's a reason why whatever
I
our
wonder
side
if I'm
is
one of them sometimes.
is are fans of Jimmy Dore.
Yeah.
Have watched Kyle Kalinske, have watched Breaking Points, have heard these arguments, and then if you go and watch the videos from like Vosh or Hassan or the Young Turks, these people like they couldn't tell you what day it was.
No.
Mm-hmm.
They really couldn't.
The guy there, and when you say our side, it's really kind of anyone outside of bread tube,
Right.
Because some people would say that this is a right-leaning podcast and stuff, right? But then there's like people like Sitch and Adam who do like those guys are very, very centrist kind of dudes, very middle of the road. Both of them probably considered themselves Democrats before. And
I would say I believe it is objective. This is a centrist show. And the people who are claiming the people in the center or who claim they're centrists are just default libs.
yeah, I mean, I mean, Sitch and Adam were definitely they were.
I don't know about them specifically.
Yeah, I agree. But again, it's the overall point is that the bread tube people, the people on the left, are very much, again, in their bubble. And then everyone on the right or everyone that's not in the bubble is called the right by them.
Exactly.
You know?
So what happens is there's this misconception of left and right. There is the cult and the not cult.
Right.
And in the not cult, you have people like Ian who, like, I got to be completely honest, nobody knows what Ian is. I mean that sincerely and seriously. There's no political camp for Ian. Ian's pro-death penalty. You've advocated for the U.S. to expand constitutional republicanism around the world, which is fairly neocon. But you're also a crystal hippy dippy. You're your own guy. They have to say you're a conservative because you're sitting here having conversations outside of their cult, and you disagree with elements of their cult. So what ends up
I
happening then
disagree
is,
with cultism a lot of times in general. It's weird. It's a weird behavior.
But what happens then is, whatever we do on this show, the opinions range wildly. And then you have people who are like, I'm a centrist. I don't agree with right-wing shows like Timcast. And I'm not a leftist like Vosh. But the thing is, it's basically like saying there is a seed buried in the earth, and that's the left, and there's a sprout, and that's the center. No, it's a component of the left. They just think they're more enlightened. And so the funny thing is the meme of the enlightened centrist, I actually think the meme is actually quite funny. Because the actual center politically is not leftist, not staunch conservative, but you will find the center and the right, in a truest sense, are mostly aligned not on their political opinions, on reality.
Yeah, I kind of view this thing as like concentric bubbles. So concentric meaning they overlap sometimes, and you've got your bubble, I've got my bubble, and sometimes they're moving, but your bubble's always moving around and overlapping with other bubbles at any given moment. So you'll be overlapping with the leftist bubble and the rightist bubble maybe sometimes, and sometimes maybe you're not. And that's as opposed to just a linear progression of you're that way, I'm this way. It's way more intricate than that.
A really good example of this is Matt Bender on this show with Seamus and me. And Seamus and I have strong debates on the abortion issue because Seamus is as pro-life as you can be. And I'm libertarian-esque pro-choice with, I do believe life begins at conception. I think there's legal challenges and constitutional challenges to personhood. And then you have Matt Bender, who's absolutely unrestricted abortion. And I'm like, okay, so the extreme ends of this are you can have an abortion whenever you want. You can never have an abortion. And me saying there are certain circumstances where I think the Constitution has a hard time dealing with this, and I don't know what the answer is necessarily. And Matt Bender says, I'm right wing. I'm pro-life. And I'm like, bro, I am not a pro-lifer. Like, I go talk to a pro-lifer, they're going to be like, you're pro-abortion. And I'm going to be like, well, you know, not like those guys. Those guys are crazy.
And also concentric, I'm looking up concentric. I'm also thinking of like Venn diagrams, like a three-dimensional.
Concentric circles are when they're like
with
around
circles
each other.
within circles, which can exist too. Like some bubbles.
That can be a Venn diagram like that, yeah.
Yeah, that could be a version of a Venn diagram. Sometimes a little bubble is within a bigger bubble.
Yeah,
and
I remember
whatever. I
like
digress
6
on
years
that.
ago, I did a call into Crowder's show and we talked about abortion. And something came up where I was like, yo, I'm like traditional pro-choice. And then he asked me some questions about compromise arguments. And I completely agree. I almost entirely agree with him, I'm pretty sure. And he was like, great, we get along. The Republican position, I think, works for us. We're not happy, but it's better off. The left is saying abortion for any reason, anytime. I'm like, oh yeah, I agree. That's nuts. Like, I can't believe that's where they are. But then you get these like, I can't stand it. These people who claim to be centrists, but they're just leftist light. They're not really centrists. They're still leftists.
Mm-hmm.
What was your your path away? You said you left that state of mind of like, what was it? Were you like in a cult and then you were like, what the hell am I doing?
No, it was kind of just by default. You know, growing up in New York City, I come from a family of musicians. I never heard until I was at a certain age that you're not even a possibility to you that there are different ideas that you could consider Republicans or conservatives, especially then. But it's funny, I always think about how I sort of walked away from the left around like 2016, 2017. And I sometimes think about back then, what were the pressing issues, like comedians being able to perform at colleges. And now it's if the government can shut down your business and put you on house arrest and force medicate you. And I think the reason that so many of us came out very strongly against the left around that time period is because many of us could see the direct line that could be drawn from one to the other.
Yeah. Yeah, 100%. That's the same for me around the same time period as well.
Authoritarian? You noticed authoritarianism?
Yeah, like I said earlier, once you see it and you see it in all these things, you can't unsee it, man. You see the Hegelian dialectic and things. And not to say, the thing is, people get wrong too. It's not people that are overtly or aware that they're communists. Yeah. They're not like card-carrying communists. There are a lot of people that are just useful idiots. Like you said earlier, there are a lot of dumb people out there, man. There are a lot of people that are just being taken advantage of. They don't even realize what they're doing. They're just in this thing and they're just acting kind of. Tim's made the reference of being like fire. It's like a thing that's just occurring. They're just doing it.
Good. I was going to say one thing that I actually am really grateful for in this regard is their insistence that I'm single, and I'm it's kind of a good thing. Yeah. I think that's cut our security costs down because they're too stupid. They want to live in this world where they view me as an incel.
Your girlfriend's little, but she's not that little.
She is a functioning human being, but they want to live in this world where they get to make fun of me for not being in a relationship or having a family or anything like this, and I'm like, I'll keep it that way. Yeah. Like the last thing I'm gonna do is I'm gonna go on Vosh or Hassan or anybody and prove them wrong. It keeps our security costs down.
Hey, I'm single. You guys can make fun of me if you want.
I'm
Bring
single
it on.
And my DMs are wide open.
Love it. Mike's here, just like I'm gonna get laid.
But there are a lot of people that deal with like censorship of like faces of their family and trying to hide the names, and then they get doxxed and everything like that. And I'm just like, no matter how many times I make references to like, I was hanging out with a girlfriend the other way, like we were doing this, we were doing that, they just still are just like, oh, Tim's an incel. And I'm like, roll with it.
Yeah.
Yeah, why not?
What I want to say, I feel like many people who are on the left are really kind of in an abusive relationship with it. And so if you sort of think about the process of leaving an abusive partner, you realize one lie, and then you realize another lie, and then you realize another one. And that's sort of leftist ideology. You pull on one loose thread and the whole sweater falls apart. And that's usually around the time people walk away.
All of the people that are like really committed to like the ideology that goes along with the left, the way that they treat other people and the way they argue on, like you can see people making arguments on Twitter and stuff. It's all emotional manipulation. It's all abusive tactics. It's all abuse, 100%. Like none of it is making a good reasoned argument, or I'm sorry, not none of it. I take that back. If you're dealing with the activists, it's almost exclusively emotional arguments, insults, manipulation. If you don't do this, you're a bad person. If you don't endorse this, then you must hope that, trans people die. It's all these, if you don't, bend to my will and acknowledge what I say to be as true and accept it, then you are Hitler. And it's just abusive. And if people would recognize that and recognize those behaviors, and as soon as people start making those behaviors, just stop engaging with them as if they're like worth a charitable, engagement, because they're not.
Hey, shout out to ALX. He quote tweeted my Donald Trump puppy thing, and he says the media refuses to cover this.
Soon they will.
People will say this is fake.
It's true though. It's all true.
I do agree with you, actually, Phil, that it was like emotional abuse. When I was leaving that environment, I lived in LA, and it was like a breaking point was when Hillary's email scandal came up, the WikiLeaks dump, and I was like, oh my gosh, look at these emails. She's working with Sidney Blumenthal in Libya. They're setting up Osprey Global Solutions. They've been colluding to overthrow the Libyan government to run guns in there. And my friend was like, it's her time, Ian. You got white privilege. And I was like, you're one of my best friends. And this is hurting so bad, but I had to walk away. I had to be like, he's insane. I got to get out of here. I can't do this. I can't surround myself with that toxicity.
Dude, and they always are for the first to blame the Republicans in a supermajority Democrat state where the Democrats have been in power for 30 years. And the first thing they say is, oh, the Republicans are causing all these problems. It's like, dude, you live in Los Angeles. You live in downtown LA. What are you talking about?
Dude, I didn't even care about politics when I was in that time. I was just talking about facts. I was like, interesting fact. This happened. Look.
That's another thing to the left. You can't not talk about and not care about politics.
It really comes down to facts are right wing, feelings are left wing.
Yeah.
Like for real though.
I talk about that's why I bring up like philosophy and metaphysics so much, because if you are actually a person that embraces the Enlightenment, then there are certain things that follow that. That means that you listen to reason. That means that you believe that reason can provide us with good answers and it can map onto reality. The people that are saying that, the people that are on the left that are really wrapped up in these ideologies, they don't believe that reason works. That's why you hear phrases like alternative ways of knowing. Right, so that's a phrase that you hear. It's a phrase you hear all the time on the left, and what they're saying is, or lived experience,
reimagining policing.
Yeah, lived experience means like we have a term for lived experience. It means anecdote. It means that's all that lived experience is. It's an anecdote, and we used to reject anecdotes, but all they did was repackage this concept, put a new name on it, and then accuse you of bigotry if you reject it. Say, if you reject my lived experience, you're a bigot, because I as a whatever marginalized person that they are claiming, they can go ahead and just disarm your whole argument. That's again, this is all illiberal, and it's all detached from the Enlightenment, which like the Enlightenment it says that we can investigate things and we can find truth and we can know reality, at least to the point where it's practical.
We can trust science, man.
Whenever somebody
hold
says,
on now,
we can trust science, man.
That's not what I said.
I'm really looking forward to like Media Matters claiming Tim Pool is known to post fake images to trick people into things that didn't happen because I made this joke about Trump carrying puppies out of a burning building.
You should do a bunch more. It was really fun when you were doing all the when Midjourney first came out and you were doing all the Biden ones and Trump ones. It was fun.
As long as it looks fake, because when it looks real, that's like, that's don't become the villain that you're trying to stop.
I agree.
No,
I don't know about seeding fake. You think seeding fake information
this is
yes.
crazy, man. Midjourney is just absolutely crazy.
Because most of the concepts you're going to come up with are a little on the ridiculous side. That looks great.
The images look so real.
Yeah.
It's Trump holding a little basket full of kittens.
I saw some Midjourney images of Trump and Biden like making cookies. It was so nice.
I tried. The prompt was Joe Biden taking kittens away from Donald Trump. Didn't work. Like it has a problem doing two people.
See if you can make his face a little dirty so he looks like he's like blue collar.
I tried a bunch of different prompts. It's kind of hard to do. I did frantic Donald Trump running while holding puppies and escaping a burning building. It didn't work. It's just Trump running with dogs down the street. It's a funny image. It's like a really funny image. Dude, Midjourney is wild.
I was, as you were talking about reason, like, because if like Hillary Clinton emails, I'm just going to bring it up again. I'm not super obsessed with it, but if my friend who was like, stop, Ian, stop. If he had just been like, okay, good point. Let's look at it. Let's investigate. It could have got to the point where we're reasoning like, okay, maybe there's some value to this liberal economic order. Maybe we did need military bases there. Maybe this underhanded behavior was actually, I can see purpose to it. But instead, he was just like, stop, don't talk about it. Look away from that. And it was like, I couldn't even get my mind. I couldn't reason around it because he wasn't willing to acknowledge it.
You get the same reaction from religious people when you deny their religion. It's because
that's what it felt like.
It's exactly what it is. It's a religion to them. People that I don't believe that humans, like, I don't believe that most people can actually live their lives as atheists or as agnostics, because they're going to behave in a certain way. and your behavior is a better reflection of what you believe than what you tell people you believe. So when people behave in a quote unquote moral way, they may not cognizantly believe that there's an afterlife, but they're acting out that they believe that the Judeo-Christian way of approaching interactions with society is the right way to do it. So they're living out a religion even if they aren't like praying and stuff like that. So and when you don't have a religion that's from your culture or whatever, or if you live in a secular society, you replace your God with the state.
Or
that
marijuana.
Looks great.
Is that Vin Diesel?
Rastaman.
Who is that on his right?
You know, no idea.
I can't see.
Eric Estrada?
You know, any idea?
He's a wrestler, right?
I don't know.
I don't know.
It's not real.
You want me to tell you what the prompt was?
Yeah,
It's
what's
not
the
real.
prompt?
Donald Trump filling in for Five-Finger Death Punch at an arena show. That's what it made.
Nice.
It didn't come out the way
It
I was
doesn't look
hoping
like anyone in Five Finger.
No, I was like, but I don't know. So I'm like, I want to see what you think about what it made.
Yeah, it looks. It honestly, my first thought was that guy's a wrestler.
Right, and it looks like he's in.
Yeah, it looks like it's in an arena too. Yeah.
Yeah, it's weird.
How's the new phone? The 20.
Oh, it's great.
Worth getting, you think?
I don't know. The AI camera stuff is creepy.
Have you been using it?
Nope.
What is an AI camera?
You can take a picture and then you can AI generate whatever you want it to be.
Oh, I don't like that. No.
It's like not that good right now.
I'm not one of those people who thinks everything is satanic, but if I were, I would think that's a little satany.
Like, let's do this. Let's take a picture and get rid of Ian. So I take a picture of the studio. Man, there's so much clutter on this desk.
Yeah.
And then you go in and I just, let's see, press this button. And then I'm going to press this little magic sparkle button. And then I just tap Ian. And then I click erase, generate. And let's see what it does. It doesn't know it's behind you. That's the thing.
But it's just filling stuff in.
It's the devil.
Yeah. And so what's going to happen is people are going to start. Oh, this is so goofy. Yeah, it does not work. It's like a weird. It doesn't work.
A lot of intricacies in that photo. If it was just me with like a blue background outside, that would probably have been way easier.
It's kind of crazy. It put like an extra window behind him because it saw the window was there. But we're getting to the point where.
Although if I'd glanced at that, I wouldn't have known.
And we're getting to the point where people are going to go out with their friends and they're going to take a picture and they're going to change it, and all the photos you start seeing everywhere, even when there's no filters or whatever, are already AI generated fake photos.
Are you deep into the technocracy? Are you like neural net?
Am I neural net?
Are you going to plug your brain into the machine?
No, I'm not going to plug my brain in the machine. I'm just hoping I have some semblance of a brain left by the time that day comes.
Like how deep into like the evolution into the technocratic human are you?
I'm not even on like TikTok.
But you have a
I
phone.
I want no part of it. Yes, I have
a smartphone,
and I probably use it a bit too much. But no, I'm a bit uncomfortable with even how much I look at it.
Do you try and get away from the tech and like get into nature and stuff?
Yeah, I just moved out of the city, so that helps.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
You feel instant change?
Yes. I just moved after a lifetime in New York City 5 days ago to Florida.
That's interesting because I don't think we mentioned that on the show yet. I think you mentioned that before the show. What was the breaking point? What you said it was felt very depressing in the city or something?
Well, it's not even the things people think it is. They contribute the crime, the migrants, the homelessness. It's not that. Everybody looks down. Everybody is miserable. Everybody is depressed. Half of them still wear masks. Like it was already on the decline with de Blasio and all of that. It had been on decline for a while, but the lockdowns were really the nail in the coffin of New York. And I used to love the city so much. I couldn't imagine living anywhere else. It is the most depressing place on earth. And I just moved 5 days ago. So then I came here. So I've been there like 2-3 days and I feel like a different person. I was in the ultimate rut, the horrible place, just living in New York for being stuck there in exile. And I think a lot of people who think that they, are going through rough times or whatever, just get out of these miserable places.
Yeah. Or just a new environment in general. I mean, obviously not, you don't want to go to a miserable environment.
Yeah. There was a video that came out a while ago of, they showed New Year's Eve in Times Square in New York in 2001, and they showed it today. And I'm like, that's what's different about New York. 2001, people are joyful, they're smiling, they're celebrating. And then today, they're all miserable and unhappy.
Are they like programmed to look down at their phone, even if they don't have a phone in their hand?
Even the ones who aren't looking at their phone, there's nothing behind the eyes. They're just vacant.
Just COVID just shredded people's minds?
No,
It was the
no,
response to COVID. It wasn't
It's
COVID.
that-
Or maybe
yes,
it was both.
yes.
Who knows?
The issue is that people have been logging out of the simulation because they're bored. And so they're logging out of the simulation.
So you're just
they're
looking
going
at
back to
their
base
avatar?
reality. Yeah, and their avatar is just like beep, bop, burp, you know?
It's just AFK, bro. Just
Yeah,
wandering
AFK,
around.
bro.
Yeah.
Not here, dude.
Yeah.
It's tempting, man. That's some Cypher. People are like, Cypher was right. That was trending on Twitter or something.
Cypher was right. I just want to eat steak.
Yeah, plug me, take me out, plug me back in. I got to get some motivation going.
And you know what's going to happen is eventually going to get a Democrat and be like, how would you like to be plugged back into the Matrix where you can forget all about this? Everything. Well, this is what happened. Donald Trump was forcefully pulling everyone out of the Matrix. Yeah. And they hated it. And people were like, I just want to go back to normal. And they thought if they voted for Biden, they'd get normal.
That's exactly like I said, I have a lot of friends that are just like, oh, you know, I want things to be normal again. And I really do think most people would be Cypher.
Jeez.
Most people would be like, yeah, I want.
But you know the story of the Matrix, right? So before the film came out, the canon is that humans chose the Matrix.
Yeah.
There was a lot of fighting going on, and the machines were like, "We'll give you paradise."
Oh yeah, and they made the perfect Matrix for him, and it kept failing.
They kept rejecting it, so then they added conflict to it to give people semi-normal lives.
That's when I was talking about my fear of what a new world order could look like is a drone war, because the drones, if they demoralize people to a point where they just want to be plugged into a machine so they don't have to experience the hell of Earth, that's a concern of mine.
We're going to go to Super Chats. So if you haven't already, would you kindly smash that like button, subscribe to this channel, share the show with your friends, head over to timcast.com, click join us, become a member. If you'd like to watch the members only uncensored shows Monday through Thursday at 10 p.m. And of course, as a member, within the next week or so, tickets will be going up for our March 5th live event in Martinsburg, West Virginia. Small, more intimate. There's going to be 50 tickets for sale. Elite members at timcast.com. There will be 10 free seats available for our elite members. First come, first serve. It's not a big enough space. However, that being said, here's how I think it's going to break down. I could be wrong. Second floor is the open social space with limited capacity, but that's going to be like, if you're an elite club member, you can hang out. And then third floor is likely where the show will be, and that's going to be the ticketed seats. And then if you're an elite member, there'll be 10 dedicated seats for you guys. But for anybody who's an elite member of Timcast who can't get a ticket or isn't there, like, you can still come hang out on the second floor. We just got to make sure there's still like there's an occupancy limit. You know what I mean? But that'll be coming up the next week or so. So sign up, become a member at timcast.com if you want to come hang out in person with everybody. It's going to be a blast, and that's in about 1 month. But for now, we'll read Super Chats. Shane H. Wilder says, congratulations are in order for Brett and Mary as pop culture crisis just hit 100,000. As a Beanie Bro and crisis actor, I couldn't be more proud. Yeah. Glad to see it.
Yep.
Absolutely fantastic, which means the silver play button will be arriving soon. Right. And what people need to understand about doing shows is that it's a snowball rolling down a hill. The more subs you get, the more subs you get, because more and more people are sharing. So that's why I always say share the show, because if you have 10 followers and 10 people share, and then tomorrow you have 12. And then if 12 people share, and tomorrow you've got 15. And then eventually you've got 1 million, and 1 million people share it, and then you got 10 million, and there you go. Eventually you'll reach your upper limit. Not everybody's going to be Mr. Beast with 200 and some odd million followers. Not everyone will get put on the front page of YouTube every single day, but Alpha Turkey says, imagine if our foreign aid was given to NASA instead. No mass layoffs at JPL, and instead our republic would be reorganized to the first galactic empire.
Yeah.
I would vote for Joe Biden. If Joe Biden came out right now and he went like, as many of you know, we're dealing with very serious issues pertaining to China and Russia, and that's why we're going to be taking that $60 billion that was being allocated towards Ukraine, putting it all into our space program to build a series of colonies in Dyson spheres so that we can reorganize this country into the first galactic empire. I'd be like, he's got my vote.
I would too. I would too. He was just playing. All that other stuff was just kidding around. And
he's back,
he's
baby.
going to take us to the stars. I mean, Elon Musk would be like, where have you been? Where have you been?
I got to be honest. Trump is much closer to that than Biden is, because Trump
started Space Force.
What is it? Artemis? Whatever.
Yeah.
They want to build a moon base so that they can then launch materials to Mars from the moon.
Good.
Trump created the Space Force specifically so that way we could go out and be America in the solar system.
So to be fair, Donald Trump going, we're going to build a great Space Force and a great galactic republic. I'm like, okay, I'll vote for that. You know,
Yeah.
maybe make some laser swords while we're at it.
Okay. Now that's my language right there.
Laser swords.
Yeah. Space Force. Yeah, man. I want to help them.
Dude,
colonize.
dude, I would like to exemplify the left in a story about the Space Force. When the Space Force was first created, they had uniforms which looked like forest camo, green, whatever, standard. And the left started laughing mercilessly, saying these people are so dumb. And then they started making mock-ups of what the Space Force uniform should look like, and it looked like outer space. And then there were people on the left were saying, why would they have jungle camo for space?
So dumb.
To which people pointed out, they are not fighting in outer space. They are operating air and space technology on the ground, on Earth. The funniest thing is, a lot of people on the right pointed out that, like, when the Navy rolled out blue uniforms for the Navy, like, you fall in the water, they can't see you. And so the funny thing is, when someone made a mock image of a Space Force uniform that looked like outer space, someone was like, do you think that even if we were fighting in outer space, little men would be drifting by themselves through space, shooting at each other? Oh, man. Bro, they'd be in spaceships.
That sounds kind of fun, though.
But, like, I would love to make this a sci-fi film where it's like they go to outer space and the war is just like a bunch of guys jumping and floating through space at each other.
Like running like, ah!
Can we do that? I want to be floating through space.
Jeez, that was amazing.
Dude, to be fair, they probably do literally think that, which is very unfortunate for their IQ.
All right. Frey Kane says Super Bowl 50 will always have the greatest commercial, Puppy Monkey Baby. I don't remember that one. What was that one?
Puppy Monkey Baby. I remember the pup. I remember the phrase. I don't remember exactly what it was, but once you said that, I'm like, I remember that.
What the hell is a puppy monkey baby?
It's a Mountain Dew commercial from 2016.
Raymond G. Stanley Jr. says, Tim, my guy, as a longtime supporter, day one member on the website, now doing my small part in the mission at Timcast. I'm freaking pumped about the future of the boonies and Freedomistan. Let's go. Dude, when we should probably do like a tour of the new space already because it's done.
That would rule.
There's a kitchen. There's the upper studio is done. The lower studio is not done because that's not a big priority. The lower studio is going to be more like crazy shenanigans, hangout, pool table, couch, where we're going to do a variety of podcasts, which is more like people sitting on a couch. So the Freedomistan show with like Richie Jackson. Skate park is already being built, but the way they do it is they build it, then they ship all the materials pre-cut and assemble it at the space. So that's going to be in like a week, and that may take a week to fully construct or two. Then we're done.
Yeah,
that's it.
Are you assembling it, or is the crew coming out to do it?
Big crew, one of the most famous. It's shout out to I don't know if I should, I'm just gonna shout them out. Spawn Ranch. Shout out to Spawn.
Sick.
Wow. Like I don't know if like they wanted
Wasn't
me.
That
to
the Charles Manson cult?
Spawn Ranch.
Yeah,
I believe yes.
Oh.
Yeah. Wow. And so Spawn Ranch is one of the premier skateboard construction companies in the world. They do some of the biggest, the best. And so they are constructing phase 1, 2, and probably 3 of Freedomistan. I believe that we may end up with like the largest semi-private action sports facility on the East Coast.
Sick.
By the time we're done, because we're going to build a mini mega ramp.
Sick.
But the combination of transition park, street park, and mega should give us like massive acreage of skate. And we'll see. It really is just depending on like how we scale the show up and you know, if we can do it. I think the strategy here is always going to be memberships. Mm-hmm. So we don't want to rely heavily on advertising. Mm-hmm. I think if the Barracks, and shout out to Steve Barr if he hears this, if the Barracks launches some kind of membership program, they've got more than enough fans that would make it so they'd never go out of business. They would never have to worry about rent or ownership. Subscribers are the way you do it, man. So shout out to everybody who's a member at timcast.com. Because you guys are basically like a brick wall that the bad actors, cancel culture can't break through. They can strip a sponsor one by one, but they can't do anything about a real grassroots effort. And that's amazing.
Yep.
Mm-hmm.
For the record, Manson's Spawn Ranch was SPAHN and the skateboard's SPOHN.
I had this whole backstory in my head where they bought the Manson Ranch and I don't know.
Would have been cool.
Dylan Visitacion says, how about a deck design contest for the Boonies decks? That sounds fun. I don't know what we have to do to make that happen, though, but that could be cool. We have 4 right now. We have a Mr. Bocus board. We have Step on Sneck and Find Out. Then there's a Taylor Silverman and a Tim Pool board. And it's funny because like in skateboarding, there's this website and they're like, Taylor Silverman is now pro and Tim Pool is now pro. And I'm like none of us came out and declared we were pro. Like that's not even what we're doing. We're just selling merch. Like the Boonies is a thing and it's going to have merch. So we want to make boards for it. We're not proclaiming we're the greatest skateboarders, but that's the way it works.
Yeah.
John Kristen says, Tim, stop saying 150 grams of protein is hard to get in a day. 3 eggs for breakfast, 8 ounces of chicken breast for lunch, and a 10-ounce steak for dinner is 152 grams. I will say it again. John, it is very difficult for me to get 150 grams of protein in a day. I wake up, I work, I'm basically working 16-hour days. I have one time to eat, and it's impossible for me to eat that much protein in one sitting. So I have to have like a protein shake early, then I have to have dinner, then I have to have beef and protein at night. So what I've been doing is like, in the after shows, I'll like slam a bunch of biltong because I need to get that beef. I need to get man.
Why that number? Is that some kind of like?
That's what they say. Well, so I skate all the time, and we've been skating a lot more. And I will say, the key to performance is just slamming protein. For real. I've never skated better than when I cut sugars out and ate a bunch of protein. When I was doing like the normal American diet, you got give or take days. And I'm going to say this to the crew at the Boonies. We'll all skate one day. And the next day I hear I'm too sore to skate. And I'm like, I'm $1 million. I ate like 3 whole chickens. You know what I mean?
The amount of protein that you have is directly, or that you ingest is directly related to how long and how sore you get. If you have the building
and water
blocks,
too.
Yeah, water, of course. You always should be hydrated. But the building blocks of muscles is protein. So you got
amateur question, but is there any way to work out every day, the same muscle every day?
Oh, no.
I want to do that.
Why?
Because if I wait another day, I get less inspired. The next day, I'm like, I want to do it again.
Just do a different body part.
No, you could do arms twice as long as you're doing like if you do different parts of your arms.
Yeah.
But that's what Ian wants, though.
No, but you don't want to do that.
Well, so why is it that you?
Where's
I feel like you just want to do it to be stubborn because you're
lit.
like other people don't do that. So I'm.
How about Ian? It's this simple.
It's a lack of patience.
On Mondays you lift. On Tuesdays you run.
Yeah, I should do more lower body.
Or do push days and then pull days? Is it kind
Bro,
of break it down?
How amazing would it be if like Ian's sitting here in like 6 months and he's just massive, but then when he stands up, his legs are just like super
the problem of getting massive is eating. I miss a meal and I'm like, wow, I'm 3 days behind now. All of a sudden,
this is what I'm saying, John. I get it. You are right. 3 eggs, 8-ounce chicken breast, and steak. That's eating 3 times in one day. My schedule does not work that way.
And also, like,
it's hard. It's hard for me
to gain muscle. Like eating 1 gram of protein per pound of body weight is like that's reasonable. But if you're actually looking to gain muscle, lean muscle mass,
more than
you're supposed to eat 2 grams of protein per. Yeah,
280 pounds of grams of protein a day.
Thing too.
Just shove a cow down your throat.
Wow. If you didn't even work out, but you increased your fat and protein intake, you'd probably gain muscle mass just naturally.
Yeah, at this point I would.
But not even about. I'm not talking about working out. I'm just saying your muscles would grow.
Once I did the training exercise, 6-week training regimen, like my body snaps to muscle build growth now. It's awesome. I didn't think I would ever be a guy that could gain muscle.
Yo. Paul Thongham says, Tim, tomorrow is the Lunar New Year. Since you're part Asian, you have the right to celebrate it. Many Asian countries celebrate it. Bro, Alex, Baccarat, let's go, baby. Where you at? We went. Yeah, Alex was so excited to go play $100 Baccarat. And I'm like, no, I don't want to play this. It's too expensive.
Come on, Tim, it's Lunar New Year. Let's spend some money.
Hold on. To be fair, he won like a lot of money.
Dude, that guy's legit.
He just looked at it. I was like, all you got to do is look what the other players are doing, bet what they bet, and he ended up winning a bunch of money.
Wow.
But there was a multi-way side bet I bet on. I actually won like $200 on it for like $10 or something, and I was like, oof, I'll take it.
Nice, yo.
Yeah, it was hot.
Guangxi Fuachai, everybody, and good tidings in your new Lunar New Year.
Thank you, Serge.
Yeah.
You know what? It's fascinating. Like, what's really funny to me is how there's that trope of Asians being good at math, and my mom has like a math YouTube channel, and
really,
yeah, she got like over 100K subscribers too, and it's a big channel. And you go to casinos and they have dedicated Asian sections.
What?
Asians love math. Okay, I'm allowed to say that because I am Asian and I love math.
Why?
I don't know. I was just talking to Phil about this before the show, that if someone starts doing something numerically, what I subconsciously have counted it. So I was saying, like, if someone's at a register and they're counting bills, I could be like reading a magazine and I could be like 17.
Listen, that's some real 2 minutes to Wapner shit, man.
Do you ever tap your teeth like left, right, left, right, left, right, left, right, like just tap, 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 tap that super fast?
No.
I do that, man. I'm just like counting numbers, counting. I hum notes, counting.
There can be like a
You're an
bell,
interesting person.
Yeah.
like like it could be like 7 o'clock, and I don't know what time it is, and the church bell will be going off, and then just abruptly someone will be like, "Oh, did you hear the church bells?" And I'll be like 6, 7, 7. Like I just subconsciously will count. I don't know. It's just there you go. It's like if life was like D&D, I would say that because I am part Asian, I get a +1 to my math saving throws.
I think I live into my cultural stereotypes too. I'm half Italian, so I'm loud and I love food and I love yelling, and I'm half Jewish, so I love money.
There you go.
Oh, nice.
All right, here we go. Amos Moses says, let's play the race card against the CCP. Oklahoma means land of the people red. Why do we let the people yellow CCP colorize Oklahoma? See Carter's report on CCP function in marijuana. Somebody give Tim pink belly so he passes. Pink belly? What is it?
That's where they like tap on your belly, like smack you in the
that's
belly
weird.
until the skin turns. That's really
Delaware X says, please highlight Commissioner French goes unlawful arrest in Trumbull County, Ohio. All charges dropped and Sheriff Monroe held liable. This was political imprisonment at a local level. Please make this be known. Whoa, what? That's crazy. What happened?
Wow.
Wow.
Damn, I didn't hear about that.
What do we got? Let's read some more. Anna Cush says, my boyfriend and I are listening. He says to tell Phil, consider putting Ian in a metalhead outfit and put him in an ATR video. I will left lane for crime if you do.
What's a metalhead outfit?
something that a metalhead would wear.
Like what you're wearing right now?
I mean, black is a very safe thing, but black is not exclusive for metalheads. I'd probably end up getting you something that's probably a little bit of, I don't know what I do.
Like leather and chains?
Maybe, but I don't want you
baby.
to look like you're, going to the Blue Oyster bar.
Oh, I want to give a
That ain't where he's gonna look
I
like
gotta-
he's going.
I want to give a shout out to
Do you know
Ian.
what the Blue Oyster bar is? Anyways.
So Ian,
In the West
I just want to let you
Village.
know, I am currently up 26.3% on my graphene investment.
Really?
Yep.
When did you start the investment?
This is like 2 years ago. Ian wouldn't shut up about the stuff, and so I was like, I'm gonna find a company that makes it. And I'm gonna invest in it right now, and then I did.
It's the wise move, man. In my opinion, I'm not a financial analyst, but when I was doing research in 2018, I came upon these numbers that led me to believe in 2029 is when we're going to see peak graphene. That's when society starts to utilize it as if it's normal.
26%. I'll take it.
Am I the only one thinking what is graphene?
Yes,
No,
at this table
we're going to
you
read
are.
more super chats.
But
Jesse
it's
Pineda
black powder.
says, today I tried to Zelle money to an MD friend going to Israel to help wounded soldiers. Chase blocked my transaction and started interrogating about the funds. We were already being controlled.
Oh yeah, I mean, you get your card. Like I travel a lot, so like card gets shut off because I go to a different place, and I have to call my business manager and be like, "Yo, call Bank of America, tell them to turn my card on." It happens regularly, frequently, and it's nowadays. I feel like it happens more nowadays than it did, say, 10 years ago or so, which is exceedingly frustrating because arguably now everything is more electronic, and it's easier for them to look into fraud and say, "Oh, we're just going to change it by clicking some numbers on the computer," than it was, 20 years ago or whatever. But anyways.
Next, the Slayer says, the president of Egypt has the nickname the Mexican among the young folks of Egypt due to a question someone asked the president, referring to him, I guess, I'm not going to read that because whatever, president of Mexico, several years ago, clearly pulling in, how do you do, fellow kids? I think that was a joke, right?
I don't know if they're trying to make it seem as if Joe Biden was knew this or anything, but I don't know.
He didn't know.
All right. Armored
course
Gesture
not.
says, you guys nailed me. Hardcore right since 2018. Protein diet all the way. On a normal day, the only sugar I intake is alongside vodka. Yeah, today I probably had maybe 20 grams of carbs. And I'm probably way overestimating. This one liquid death has 6 grams of sugar in it. And then on Fridays, we do sushi. But I just had a bunch of sashimi.
Yeah.
And then I did have, I think, 4 pieces, which may actually be a good amount, like 20 or more. 4 pieces.
I still have a lot of too much sugar. But today I spent, an hour and 20 minutes doing cardio, on the stair machine and stuff. So, but it is right wing to.
It won't turn to fat if you burn it. If you burn the sugar, if you
Okay, so it's,
catalyze it.
actually, this is, you gotta watch out for sushi. 4 pieces, 31 grams of carbs. So I'm actually closer to 40.
carbs. Is that all the
Yeah.
rice?
Yeah.
Yeah, rice is dense, but a lot of protein.
It's also a slower, it's carbs, but it's a slower burning carb than sugar is.
Right.
Like
Lower
pure
glycemic
glucose.
index, I think. Yeah.
Yeah, and I was watching a thing where they said don't put bananas in smoothies
Yep.
because it'll absorb too fast.
Oh,
Eating a banana is good because it absorbs slow, but when you mutilate it really quick in a
Right.
blender,
yeah.
it becomes paste that goes right into the blood. And
All the
spikes your blood
fiber's
sugar.
gone, right?
It's so good.
Yeah.
What do we got? Spin Wild says they made a Weekend at Bernie's too. We should absolutely fear what the establishment is capable of. Well,
Yeah,
it was
so true.
predictive programming, right?
Yeah.
Weekend at Bernie's. Mm-hmm. That was it the whole time. Vince says Newsom replicating the Vivek strategy, praise primary challenger relentlessly on chance they drop out of race and collect their voter base. Newsom knows the plan. Everybody but Biden is in on it. They are entering drop Biden endorse Newsom phase.
I still think that
Go.
I think that the president and the person that is, in question to be dropped by the powers that be or whatever, I still think that they have a significant amount of power, and it's not as easy as just get out of here. I think that they have people that support them, and it's always a far more complex motion than or a situation than just, okay, the DNC says you go now and you get in there now.
I got a
There's some
question.
agency.
I got a question for people listening. Has anybody bet on the Taylor Swift proposal for the Super Bowl?
No.
No, that's a thing people think is gonna. Oh.
Well, you can bet on it. You can bet on it.
That he's going to propose to her?
Yeah.
Oh, man.
I mean, part of me says it's a fake relationship, but the other part of me says she's 34 and like
She'd probably say yes, but that doesn't mean it would be a good. I just feel like that whole thing is just propped up by the media. It looks so forced. Not that
sold
they
her-
don't
she
like
had-
each
she had-
other, but
bro,
it feels
she
like.
had to sell her jet. Did you hear this?
Yeah, she sold the big one. She didn't
Because she's getting attacked by leftists. They're saying that she's burning too much carbon.
Well, part of the reason
that pressure, man.
no, she sold it because the tail number got out because there's a
Both
dude.
tail numbers are out.
Well, there's a dude that follows people that have tail numbers and lets people, puts their information out. And that was why she sold it initially, is what I understand.
No. Both tail numbers have already been out for a long time. The dude's been tracking him for a while. She sold this one because she's being attacked heavily for her carbon emissions. And she initially claimed a few years ago that she loans that plane out, which is worse. Because the argument is if you have the plane and you don't fly it, it's producing, X amount of carbon when you do. If you loan it out, it's now producing now it's flying every day. Now you're producing substantially more than you would have if you weren't loaning it out. So then she announces she's selling it. And I'm like, guys, Taylor Swift should be allowed to fly whatever she wants, whenever she wants. And my point was, if Taylor Swift had the option between doubling the concentration of atmospheric carbon and then being able to be there for that proposal, and her option, and the other option was no proposal, but you can't, and no carbon. I say carbon. I say warm the planet, baby. Go get married. You know why? Because let the left come after her and attack her for flying in her jets. The only way she's going to make it to the game.
Yeah.
Let them attack her over.
I had an experience in college where there's this beautiful woman that I was like, she was like my best friend, and I wanted to be with her, and it was just it wasn't working. But one day she called me, and I was at my parents' house, and it was the summer, and I was like, she wanted to hang out, and I was like, Mom, can I borrow your car? And if she'd been like, no, it's too much carbon, my life would have taken a different path, man. But she said yes, and then I went, and then we spent 7 years together. It was amazing. Thanks, Mom.
Christian W says this is 4D chess. This report allows them to continue an indictment against Trump, as opposed to shutting both cases down against Biden and Trump, and allows the DNC to move Gavin Newsom into position to run. And now Gavin can come out and say, look, I know I told DeSantis we weren't going to run, but I mean, considering the circumstances, I'm here if you need me. That's what he'll say. When I was asked, we didn't know what was going on with Joe Biden. I mean, everyone thought it was a stutter.
Oh, God.
Yup.
I can't even imagine that story trying to be sold.
Kieran, the meat man, says, Ian has a point. With an army of robots, you don't need to justify your cause and keep morale high. All you need is enough manufacturing capacity to win.
There's got to be a cause, though, and I'm still wondering what the cause is.
You're saying, but like, if the idea was the government decides to suppress the population, they would have a mechanized military that they don't need humans.
Yeah, like right now, you wouldn't send, like the Israelis in Gaza, for instance, they're having, like, from what I've heard, it's hard on the troops going into the rubble because they're getting hit with sniper fire. But if they were robots, it doesn't matter.
Well, yeah, I mean, I think that it's reasonable to say that automated military troops are what, or that's definitely in the future. If because first of all, you don't need to get brave people, you need to get compliant people then, because if they're running the robots, or if there's a human in the loop, then you just need people that are going to follow the rules. It doesn't matter if they're brave, it doesn't, because the robot gets smoked, it doesn't matter.
Fortunately for them, there's way more compliant people in America nowadays than brave ones.
Yeah, I mean, fair enough, but I mean, I'm just thinking, like, if you've got to be dudes that'll kick in a door and when there's bad guys inside, like, that takes a whole lot of balls. And if it's just robots doing it that are being controlled, it doesn't take any balls at all.
I did tactical training last week with Luke Rutkowski, and we were doing the shooting range, and when I turned the corner and there was a guy walking towards me pointing a gun right at me, and it wasn't like a video game, like it was pointing at my avatar. It wasn't like a video where I saw a guy pointing it at someone else. He was pointing it at me because he wanted to shoot me. It was like, that was one of the more disturbing experiences I've had in my life. And it was good that I had it. Because, like, just to have that surge of adrenaline of it, you turn a corner and a guy, like, you're his target, like, that's not a good feeling. It was important to understand, like.
Is it paintball or was it airsoft?
It was airsoft.
All right. GTA Nation says, Tim, I work for Coca-Cola United, the private Coca-Cola, and you got to try Core Power 42 grams of protein ready shakes, chocolate flavor. It's lactose free, and even people with blood sugar issues can have it. No. Jocko Mulk. Bro, I have tried many a protein powder. Jocko's protein powder is the best I have ever had. He did not pay me to say that. I would love it if Jocko sponsored us to promote his protein powder, because, like, I'm not kidding. It is the most delicious. I've got the chocolate peanut butter, the strawberry, and the vanilla. I like mixing the vanilla and the strawberry together, but it's no sugar added. Naturally, it's got monk fruit, and it's got fermented cane sugar, Reb M they call it, I guess. And it's the best. When Robbie was here, he was like, I'll try it. And it tastes like a milkshake. It's like you're drinking a milkshake.
Yeah, it's so good.
Insanely good. And then I've
fruit.
And it's whey and casein, but I think it's more so whey. So at night I do the pure casein. But shout out to Jocko for, like, legit making the best protein powder. Because what happened was we ordered that gold standard stuff, no beef, but it's got Splenda in it. I don't care, dude. I will eat. You got the naked whey downstairs.
Yeah, just pure protein powder.
Yeah, I'll take the flavorless stuff. I want to feel good. I don't care. I don't need to eat chocolate candy bars.
You can always add sugar, but if it's already in there, you can't get it out.
But Splenda is just nasty. And then the Jocko stuff is monk fruit, and it's amazing. Shout out Jocko, dude.
I need to take notes on this. I am slowly coming out of my Fat Elvis era.
Dude, Jocko Mulk, it is so good. It's the best protein powder I've ever had, flavor-wise. I don't know about the ingredients.
Oh, even ingredients. No Splenda, no added sugar. It's a blend of protein, so it's whey and casein, but it's like whey isolate and, like, whatever. I don't know enough about it, but I know it's a blend. It says on the package, designed to be time release, so it's like not just flooding your system all at once like a lot of whey does.
The Jocko Milk I was eating gets very thick, like milkshakey.
Yeah.
The other protein powders stayed a little watery. It was
and
thickening
it mixes.
up.
Like, I mean, I got these shakers that come with built-in little blenders. That's like a little plastic thing in it. You press a button, you can charge with the USB. The Jocko Milk in 2 seconds is mixed. I'm just like, dude, this guy nailed it. How did he do it? I get protein powder and it clumps together, and there's stuff floating in it, and I'm like, whatever, I'll just slam it. It's fine. And there's Splenda in it, and I'm just like, ugh. And it's probiotic. Dude, this guy knows what's up. Anyway, smash the like button, subscribe to this channel, share the show with your friends, support our work over at timcast.com. Thanks for hanging out, everybody. You can follow the show at Timcast IRL. You can follow me personally at Timcast. Mike, do you want to shout anything out?
Yeah, you can find me on Twitter at @NotMikeHarlow. Subscribe to my little YouTube channel on YouTube. It's just Mike Harlow. Walkaway has just relaunched on Facebook. They got censored and struck down at over 500,000 members. So check out the new Facebook group. Go to joinwalkaway.com. Make Walkaway videos. Send them in. Oh my God, I was just on Timcast. How crazy is that? Thank you for having me.
Right on. Thanks for coming.
I am Phil That Remains Official on Twix. I'm Phil That Remains on Twix. I'm Phil That Remains Official on Instagram. My bad. The band is All That Remains. You can follow us on Apple Music, Spotify, Amazon Music, Pandora, YouTube, the internet. And don't forget, the left lane is for crime.
Yo, work out. Lift some heavy things this weekend. Do it for yourself. Do it for your community. Good to see you, Mike. Follow me at Ian Crossland anywhere and everywhere on the internet, and I'll be happy to see you once you do. See you later.
Yeah, that was sick. Just seeing Ian yell at the screen and tell him to go lift weights.
Get shredded. Pick up heavy thing. Feels so good.
Yeah, that was cool. I'm Serge.com. Follow me on the internet. Go follow my SoundCloud. That's a fun one. Or Instagram, something like that. Yeah. Cheers.
Super Bowl, let's go.
Yeah,
We're having a
fun.
Super Bowl party, ladies and gentlemen. We will see you all on Monday.